Hi everyone and welcome to Party Saturday here on the APAT show. Tonight's guest is none other than gentle giant and longtime member Tristan Chaplin, who will share his poker background and much more, in addition to calling your hands in the championship. We've also got Turbo Millionaire at 11, where you can win a signed Rob Needham book on top of medal event entries. Okay, I'll be back with Tris and Leigh right after this. Leigh, we have one of the really good guys on tonight. I have to say, I'm really looking forward to our guest. What can you tell us about him?
Well, what is it? You are quite right. One of the absolute good guys. One of my most favourite people in the APAT world. He's got a stack of cashes though for an amateur poker player. He's got over $60,000 of live winnings. But of course, the most coveted part of that will be back in 2014 when he picked up the APAT World Amateur Poker Championship in London. A warm welcome to the show, Tristan Chaplin.
Hi, good evening, guys. Evening, everyone. Hope you're all well.
Tris, lovely to have you on. How has your Saturday been?
Very nice, very nice. We saw United struggle a little bit to the victory over Norwich for the FA Cup quarter-final, and we just found a little poker now with a few drinks.
Oh, it sounds, I don't know about you, Leigh, but that sounds like a pretty darn good Saturday to me. Your team gets to Wembley, right?
I'm just assuming he's pretty much replicating the photo that's currently on screen at the moment. I'm assuming he's just got his rail round with a few beers for a bit of online poker. Yeah, because you're allowed to do that now, right? Yeah, so you can get away with that. Yeah. Oh, actually, no, you can't because you're only allowed 6, Tris. So you're gonna have to drop one of the rail. Which one of the rail are we dropping? Yeah.
You're gonna have to come out of the bubble.
Oh dear.
Is he still deciding? I think he's still deciding, Leigh. What do you think?
Oh, you know me. I wouldn't want to upset anyone, would I?
Exactly. I knew you were going to say that. Absolutely.
Oh dear. Right, Leigh. I'll tell you what we're going to do. You, my friend, are going to take a quick look through the chat box to see who we've got in tonight, and then maybe tell us what we're playing.
We can do that. So it's Saturday night, which is always a good bit of fun. We know a lot of people are still in playing a bit of poker. So Joe Chillmaid is in tonight. Steve 40 is, as is Ace for McGrath. Warm welcome to Adelaide Bull, who was MVP from Poker Squads last week. Well done. Colin McCarthy's also in. Dave Potts is in the house. Good evening to you, Dave. Don Logan as well. Shirley Cole. Thank you so much for coming on the show last week, Shirley. It was great chatting to you. Hope you're well. Ezzy is in the room as well. Steve 40 says, hi, Leigh and Des. Any football chat tonight? I'm leaving. Well, we're okay because we've got Tristan and myself on the show, so we've got plenty of balance on the show tonight. So we probably won't even mention the shenanigans that have been going on in the on Merseyside. Oh, here we go. Yeah.
Sorry. What was that?
Yeah.
What was that about balance?
Yeah, exactly. So Shirley Cole says, hey, Tris. Joe says, evening, guys. Hi, Tris. Alistair says, morning, Tristan, as we'd expect from Ironside. Evening all from Asa. And Rob Needham says, hey. Pete Wigglesworth is also in the room. And Dan Austin has joined us, as has Frank Bailey, who says, hi, guys. So a warm welcome to you all. So it's Saturday night, which means we've got PLO in the Poker Squads penultimate game of the week. 128 runners in that. We've got 52 remaining and we're paying top 18. We've also got a Sunday roller feeder on the go at the moment. That's got 8 players left. There's a certain top 3, well actually top 4 at the moment. Asa, Joe, Tom Clark and Naz. Plus also Adam Phelan's there, Gary Jackson, Karen Balbies as well there. So they're all still looking for chips for Sunday. But of course, it's Saturday night, and it is always the case. And as is our guest is currently doing at the moment, we are medal hunting. It's the No Limit Hold'em Championship Saturday. Medals for the top 3. 132 runners in that with 43 remaining. I'm hoping Tristan is still one of those.
He is. He's a wee bit short at the moment, but I'm still in there.
I wouldn't have said he was short. He's quite a tall man. He's quite a tall man.
So Tris is currently 36th of the remaining 43. We're paying top 20. Top prize tonight is $455 plus the $109 ticket. So blinds are currently 5,000, 10,000. So Tris, you've got what, about 150,000?
Yeah, about 150. Yeah.
Yeah, so you've got about 15 big. So it's still a bit of play in there for you, yeah?
Yeah. Still pretty easy poker, but yeah.
This might be quite remarkable for you guys, but I've actually managed to put that table live despite the challenges that we've had. So we do have a live table. We can't move the lobby around very much, so we're still having some issues here. But the table is up and there for everybody to view.
Excellent stuff. There's nothing like about to go on air and 30 seconds to go and Des says, "Oh, I've got to do an update."
Not an update, an entire reinstall.
Yes, that's what we like to
Bloody
see.
dilithium crystals failed, Lee.
Absolutely outrageous. So, Tris, just quickly, give us a rundown. Who's on your table? Who are you worried about there?
I don't know the guy personally, but Gary Jackson is looking quite a reasonable player with a very healthy stack. Martin Power, Luke Woodall. No one I actually know, but they've all got me covered. So,
so basically, which means that their chips are all up for grabs. Yeah, is what we're saying. Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah, absolutely. So, Ironside says, "Don't pick on the shorties. I'm only 4 foot." Ben Walters joined us. Oh, so Phil TC's in the house, popping on. He says, "Date night here at TC Towers."
Oh, date night. Do you remember date night, Lee? Do you remember date night?
Well,
oh my God.
Just wanted to say hi. Tris is not only one of the best poker players I know, but one of the nicest, most humble humans I have ever met. Love him to bits. To be honest, Tris, it sounds like you should be doing date night up at TC Towers. I mean,
my goodness, I must admit. Well, he's got a trip to Vegas planned last year, and he's invited me along, but I'm a bit worried now.
I was going to say it sounded like, you know, I mean, you've met Lily, obviously, so you know it's He's only got eyes for Lily. We know.
Lovely.
Know the truth.
There's a song in that.
Lovely couple.
You guys keep chatting amongst yourself. I'm just dealing with. Dealing with stuff here. You don't worry about me.
That's no problem at all. We'll let you carry on. So let's start chatting, Tris, about Tristan Chaplin and poker. So tell us when you first kind of got into poker. Was it playing, pub games? Was it, straight into casinos or online, or what got the poker bug going for you?
Right. Okay. Well, we first started early 2001, the famous late night poker.
See, everybody talks about that.
Yeah, it's amazing.
It was sort of a drunken flick through the telly, and I just saw it and thought, yeah, I could do that. And yeah, that's it. We just started from there, really, to be honest.
So was that you then playing online, or was it straight away going, okay, I'm going to replicate that live. I'm going to go and find somewhere to play live. And whereabouts were you based at the time?
Essex boy, born and bred, and we're still there. And my local town, Houston in Essex, actually had a local snooker club which actually held a poker night.
Oh, okay.
On Wednesday, and then I frequented that quite often.
Yeah.
And just £25 for his ounce, and.
Now, funnily, Robert Needham, who was on last week, said a very similar thing. Was in a snooker club, and they had poker tables up, and just thought, what's that all about, and got involved. So, what was the sort of crowd like playing then back in those days?
It was fantastic, really. To be honest, I just loved it. About 40 or 50 runners we were getting. It was getting so popular.
And what sort of buy-ins was that? Was that sort of £10, £20 buy-ins, that kind of thing?
Just £20 really. I think majority of the time £30.
Wow. And was it a successful start to your poker career, or was it very much a learning curve for you?
So, well, the duration of time playing there is probably 3 to 4 years. So it was more of a learning curve. But I think they were getting a bit fed up with me because I think I went up there, one session, I think I won 3 on the spin.
Oh, dear.
And
Wow.
one guy said to me, look, you know, have you ever thought about playing a bit further afield in casinos and that? And I said, no. But
that sounded like an invite out. That sounded like a FOF, leave our cash alone.
That's what we did.
Oh, dear.
I think we may well be in a hand here, gentlemen.
Oh, go for it. Go for it. We're back up and fully functional now as Tris pushes his chips gently into the middle.
Caresses them.
Caresses
the
them,
line.
absolutely.
Yeah. So, he gets it through.
Yeah, he gets it through.
It was quite a marginal spot, but I thought against that player, that's that worked. That's what we wanted.
They showed you a bit of respect there, Tris.
Did. Yeah. Do you have any idea, Lee, what Tris would suggest is marginal? Are we talking about ace king, ace queen, or is Tris is sort of it's a jack 10, but they're suited? What do you think?
I'm going suited connectors, I would suggest.
Yeah.
I'm thinking maybe jack queen suited maybe.
It was I think it was ace 8 actually.
Oh,
ace 8. That was marginal. That was indeed marginal from early
the
position.
dead man's hand.
Now you need to be careful, Tris, that you don't give too much away because some of our watching audience might in fact be at your table. You don't want to give too many secrets away, but obviously you can tell Lee and I.
Oh yeah.
So we are up and fully functional now, guys. Just in case I didn't say that, so I think
excellent stuff. That's all good.
No more problems.
I'm just assuming. I mean, What you should all probably realise is obviously we're all sat in the virtual studio here. Des turned up with a crate of 24 beers, some flares, fireworks, and basically said, "I'm here to celebrate," is what he said.
Oh yes.
He said, "I may even decide to just start a small fire at some point." And don't worry, because somebody will come along and clear up after me in the morning, so it'll be fine. Yeah.
Okay, yeah, we're all in again, guys. I was going to say to Des, actually, congrats to Liverpool on winning the league. I wanted to get that out the way as soon as possible.
That is magnanimous. Is that the word? That's yeah. And you know what? I quite like that. I'm not anti saying well done to a United fan if they get a big result, and I'd half expect the same back. No. So I'm glad to see that. What bugs me is the grating for no great reason, I have to say.
No, and that's me. It was so much fun to be on the football show on Thursday when you won it and got to be there, and your reaction. I did apologise afterwards for my. Oh yeah, well you've got some action here, Tris. Yeah, Gary Young's called you all in, so good luck. Let's see whether Jacob's going to get involved as well. Doesn't. 9's against ace 10.
Well, it's anybody's. There's the ace.
On the flop. Going to need a 9, and it doesn't happen.
Unlucky, Tris, but welcome to the show. As they say, welcome to the show. Surprised you lasted as long as you did. There you go, guys. Tris got 14 minutes for his money tonight in terms of his contribution to the show while live. But not to worry, it's all the better for us, Lee, because now we get his full attention. Do you remember speaking to Tony Trippier on this very night last week? And the man was running across the room to talk to us and running back to play his 9-7 offsuit, and that sort of just filth, absolute filth.
It was carnage.
It was carnage. Yeah. So we did have a lot of fun on the football show on Thursday night, and of course, delighted to win. And I'm still a bit buzzy off of it, I have to say. Yeah. But the weirdest thing happened, right? The weirdest thing happened. I popped into the space that I've got this equipment for doing the show yesterday morning. Right, I'd do some work. Popped in yesterday morning, and because I run the little side panel with Twitter and the football app and stuff, I generally use the phone that Lee and I use to make this call for that. Okay, so I was using that phone. So I put another phone, an old phone in to handle the call, which included Natalie, Lee, and myself. All right, so that was just sat in there. I hadn't used it for 6 or 7 months. And So I took it down this morning yesterday morning to update it, right? To update the iOS. And it showed that I had a voicemail. Now, I haven't used this phone for 6 or 7 months, and it's showing a voicemail, and I'm thinking, that's just weird. Like, who
even knows the number?
Well, it was a work phone, right? It was a work phone, so it's just really weird. So I haven't used it for 6 or 7 months. First of all, I was mega surprised it's still connected. How the hell has that been a thing? So they've obviously left it connected, and it's just sat in my whatever, and I've just used it the last night. Now, I say it's a work phone. It's my phone, but I used it for work. So, and they were paying the bill, so it was still connected. So I thought, well, when did this message arrive then, right? You know, what, back in March with some, relative probably saying something like, oh, Des, I hope you're okay. You know, I hope you haven't got it. The goddamn message had come through the night before. Right, shall I play you the message? This is so coincidental. See if you can hear this.
Today at 12:05 a.m.
I thought you might appreciate a little listen. It's just died down a minute, but you might get some more singing in a minute. I'll just leave it on.
It's Scouts.
I'm going to stop singing for you.
Oh, dear.
I hope you appreciated that, lad. But Jay, you can't be here. Fucking fuck that.
To return the call at your normal call rate.
There you go. That was Scouse live from the scene of the many crimes.
He's just come into the chat box now going, I just tuned in. I know what story's coming here.
Well, I tell you what, it was just, it was marvelous to get it. And, for Scouse to be thinking of me when he's surrounded by these thousands of Liverpool fans past midnight, and obviously it's crazy. And look, my view of it, for what it's worth, is that the first night, I think, it was an unplanned thing. It just happened.
Oh,
right?
To be honest, it wouldn't have mattered what club. It was gonna, in these circumstances, that was gonna happen.
It's just people just had to get out, right? But the second night, I'm not a fan of. I'm not a fan of the second night. And if it sort of happens again, I'm not massively a fan of that. And I think we just have to be careful for the image of the club. Done a lot of good work.
Well, the club have come out today and said that, haven't they?
They have, and I get that. But I think the fans have had their chance to just blow it off. And, there will be a parade. There will be a parade to look forward to. And we haven't received the trophy, so we'll get there, right? I'm pretty sure we'll get there. But I have to say, I was so excited.
You're done now. That was it. You've had your chance. You can't have it both ways.
I'll tell you
either
what.
Celebrate on the night, or that's it. Isn't it?
I just had a thought, right? If we void the league now, obviously we've won it. Does that mean we can get the trophy next weekend? We can have the parade then.
Yeah.
Let's do that. Let's void the league.
Why not? Yeah.
Hold on. Are West Ham in the bottom 3 yet?
Oh, don't start.
Well, we'll hold off. We'll hold off unless West Ham are in the bottom 3.
You're going to upset a lot of people. That's for sure. Yeah.
They know I'm joking. But so that was Scouse from the outside Anfield shenanigans on Thursday night. Very excited by the whole thing.
To be honest, it did look like just a lot of people enjoying themselves, and maybe a bit too close to each other for some people's liking. But ultimately, as I say, it wouldn't have mattered which club it was going to win the title during this lockdown or coming out of lockdown period. There was no way you were going to stop people from wanting to celebrate. United fans would have done it, Tris, wouldn't they? I think.
I think so. I mean, it's 30 years, Lee. You've got to give them the first day. You've got to give them a bit of time to just sort of, you got to vent off. I think 30 years the guys have been waiting. So I think that would have been the same.
There's a bit of feedback in the chat box. Let's see if I can find any of this that I can make sense of. So we start with Ben Walton, I think, who says, "What would Des possibly be celebrating?" Good question. Steve 40 says, "What happened? Did Liverpool win a game?" Well, ironically, no.
That
ironically,
was
no.
the crazy thing about
Didn't
it.
even need to turn up for that one. And then there's a bit of, can you translate, please? Obviously, we'd expect a bit of that. Ben comes back with, sorry, what language is that? And then Carl says, golden, well played, Scouse. And it was very thoughtful. Steve comes back with, well, what did he say? And Scouse comes on, absolutely amazing. I'd forgot I did it until you texted me. So I texted him. I texted him yesterday with, oh, thanks for sending me that message. It was like, oh, did I? Oh, maybe it was the wrong number. It could have been that, of course. Maybe he was, texting Gareth or one of his other mates. Anyhow, so Rob Needham is saying Watford are a point above the relegation zone. So I'm all for voiding the league. Yeah.
Actually, Des, with Scouts,
yeah.
I wonder if he'd done the old Michael McIntyre, the old send to all. Do you reckon?
I could have done
his
just
phone?
for safety, just
Yeah.
to have seen what stuck. Where the responses came back.
No, to be fair, he did that was a personalised. That was a very much a
Oh well.
because you can't be here kind of. It felt very.
Oh yeah, well there was about 3,000 people shouting, Des Duffy. So can't mistake that bit.
That's what you're assuming it was. They were shouting. Oh right.
Well,
okay,
only
fine.
Scouts. It was Ginny Wijnaldum, but only Scouts at the end. But
Yeah.
I personalised it for me. I think I'll keep going.
I very much would. It's
We'll play
it's a
that.
nice touch.
We'll play that every night we have a Man United fan on the show. which, to be honest, Lee, is every night.
I'm only booking United fans from now on. You know that, don't you?
Oh dear. So John Late's just joined us. Hello, fellas. Big hello to Tristan as well. So thank you, John.
Hi, evening, John.
Unfortunately, Tristan has left the competition. Contractual reasons.
The most recent curse was tonight. So.
Oh dear. So listen, you told us about playing out in Essex, but how did you get into the game? Did you have any poker experiences when you were younger, or where did your initial experience of the game come from? But was it late night poker?
It literally was, yeah.
Oh wow. Okay.
Just watching it on telly, the late night poker. And I just happened to come across the advertisement for the game at the local snooker club, and we just went on from there, really.
Happy days.
I did notice a guy called Neil Channing playing on Late Night Poker, and Joe Beavers and people like this.
Well, it's amazing because you connected with Neil. You were part of Black. Oh my God! Why don't I?
Black belt.
Black belts. That's it. Crikey. Yeah, you were part of Black Belt for quite a while, weren't you, Tris?
Well, actually, yeah. I'll get onto it.
Oh, he's got a script, Lee. He's got a script.
Did I not mention?
I'm glad somebody has.
He's actually researched himself, so it's really good because it saves us having to worry about it.
Brilliant,
So.
excellent.
So yeah, I noticed Neil had his own site, blackbeltpoker.com, and we downloaded that and started playing on that, and they had their own league on there, which was only like $5 freeze outs, 8 weeks, and point per place kind of thing.
Mm.
And we were lucky enough to go on and actually win one of the leagues. And the association with Black Belt with APAT, because we actually sent a team from Black Belt to play in the APAT team championships.
That would have been. Was that the Bolton one?
We were. Oh goodness. 2014 was it? I think.
Yeah, I think
could have been Bolton. You'd remember it because it was as hot as hell.
Was it the one that Neil won?
Oh no, I was the year after.
Farrell.
It was the year after, right? Okay, yeah.
Okay.
I was the year after that one. I might try and hand it out, see if I can get some more info.
Just can't get the research, Lee. You just can't get the research done in an efficient way. It's just outrageous. The guests, they don't prepare for this show. But I have to say, whatever about the clarification required for dates, apparently, according to Emma Pilgrim, Tristan is in fact the best smelling APAT member of all, and I think that's quite a nice thing to hear.
Yeah, we'll take it.
Yeah, because
absolutely.
we've had a few well dodged ones, I tell you.
I'll take any compliment I can.
So, are you still researching, or should I follow in with another probing question?
February 2014. In Stoke.
Oh, Stoke.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Stoke. Yeah.
Which is I met a couple of APATers. I mean, John Leigh was there, and Dawn Cook. That's where I met Dawn as well.
The lovely Dawn.
Canon black belt.
Yeah.
And she introduced me to APAT and actually said, well, they're actually having a World Championships in Aspers in a few months' time. You should head down and play. And, well, yeah, that's another story. That went quite well.
Do tell. Now is a good time. Let's hear it. Roll it on.
So was it the first year we've been? Was it the first year we've been at Aspers? I think it might well have been.
Probably will have been.
I think it would have been actually.
Was, yeah.
So was Aspers fairly local for you? I guess. Yeah.
That's the closest casino to myself. Yeah.
Yeah. So you went into that kind of thinking, what? Okay, it's amateur poker. That's fine. What? So we were what £100 buy-in for that Worlds?
Yeah, well, £100. Yeah.
So what was your feeling going into it? Was it okay? I'll see the lay of the land and just come and play.
Yeah,
this?
just literally just go down there. We'll just enjoy it. Meet some people and see how we get on. Really, there was no real plan as such. Just go there and just see how we do.
And did you end day one as one of the chip leaders, or just a steady stack going through? Can you remember?
Oh, I think I was just middle of the pack. I think, if I remember rightly.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then what happened? Then obviously returning back for day two, just again steady, or were there particular points where you just kind of built your stack considerably?
I can't remember too much about it, Lee, to be honest. But I'm going to say just fairly steady. I think there's never really. I do remember one hand. I think I managed to flop a straight flush, which was quite handy. And I had a guy leading into me.
Oh, sweet.
3 times. That sort of that helped a little bit. I remember that.
Yeah, I'm just looking back to your final table there. So you had Claire McGregor on there, Tony Gale. Yeah, so Tony finished third, and Guy was on there as well. So that's quite a taste. And of course, I mean that was decent number of runners there. So 300 plus runners. So what, $7,500 for first place.
And the trip to Vegas as well on top.
Of course, yes, we were doing Vegas that as well. So yeah, absolutely. So at that point, that was what your biggest live.
Oh, at that point, yeah, my biggest one by quite a while.
Wow. I'm just having a look to see. Do we have any videos back from that, Lee?
I'm not sure whether we do.
I'm having a look.
We might do.
You guys talk amongst yourselves, and I'll see if I can find any content.
I don't think there was, remembering at the time, but I may be wrong.
That'd be disappointing.
Yeah, you never know. There might well have been. Yeah. So and of course, since then, Tris, you've travelled all about the place with with poker, mostly with APAT, I guess.
No real poker site per se. I do tend to play, quite randomly, really. I've met many sites I play on. It's I do try to find events I can make with sort of work related, so I haven't got to take too much time off work.
Yeah, no, that's fair. But you play. I remember when we've spoken in the past. You play a lot of the kind of the 888 tours, and I think you said you played. Did you play some of the Hippodrome stuff with the Poker Stars and UK IPT and that kind of thing?
1 or 2, yeah. And I've qualified for a few GKOTs as well. Anything over sort of 500 buy-in, I want to see into.
Yeah.
Basically.
But will you look for stuff and target stuff and go, right, okay, I really fancy playing that in a couple of weeks' time or a month's time, and then you'll have a proper go at the satellites for them, or? Yeah,
normally we'll get the calendar out and have a look at the next 2 or 3 months, and we'll target 1 or 2. Yeah. And then we'll go after the satellites. Yeah. And
what do you set yourself a budget for? Okay, this is how much I'm prepared to get, to try and get into that particular event, or how do you go about it?
I'm going to say about 5% of the buy-in, I would say, a rough estimate. But if there's something that just sort of takes my fancy at the time, I might might pay that as well. But I do have a bankroll management, but not really as strict as it probably should be.
Okay, so when you're satelliting into bigger stuff, you will do. So you're not talking about like, oh, I'll take a 50 quid shot into a 500. You would, you'd be looking at starting at like a 5 into a 50. So you'd work your way up. Yeah, you'd look to work your way up from as lowest level as you can, or have you got a point where you tend to come in at?
I do tend to work right from the bottom.
Yeah, well, why not? I mean, on party, you've got the opportunity to, they do kind of, free rolls and cent rolls and all sorts of stuff for getting on into some of their stuff.
What's your record like for doing that, Tristan? Do you, is that a successful strategy for you?
Well, pretty much. Well, I would say 7 or 8 out of 10 caches I've had have been through satellites once.
Oh, brilliant.
So.
That's fantastic.
Yeah.
That's really, really good. And obviously that shows, a strong degree of online prowess getting you into higher buy-in live events. So, if we talk about live and online, I mean, where are you most comfortable? Where are you happiest?
I'm happier live. I like to more the social thing, more to meet people.
Yeah.
You can't beat playing someone across the field, really. I mean, online is great. I do like it. But for me, it's live.
Completely different set of skills, or a lot closer than many would think. What do you think?
The fundamentals are still the same.
Yeah.
I do tend to play more open online, I think, and I do tend to drink more online when I play.
Ooh. Okay. Have you had a few beers tonight, Tris? You're amongst friends here.
Yeah,
you're in a safe place.
We're a few cans in.
Oh, excellent. A few tinnies, guys. It's Saturday night. We told you. If you haven't prepared, that's your fault.
Last Saturday it was gin night, and we're on the beers tonight.
Oh, my God. We haven't heard from Tony Trippier since. I hope he's okay. Send somebody around, please. So, how about cash, Tristan? Do you play cash?
Must admit, for cash, no, it's never really appealed to me.
Oh, that's interesting. Yeah.
I'm a really am a tournament player.
Yeah.
Over cash, I've been told I should, and I think some people say cash is king, but for me, it's never really appealed.
Would you do it if you had backing?
Yeah, possibly.
Unsure. He's unsure, Lee.
Yeah, I'm very unsure on that.
No,
I think
that's fair enough.
I think I'm similar. I don't play cash. I don't like it. I don't find much enjoyment out of it. And actually, if you ask me the question, would I play if I was back? No, definitely not. That would be the worst thing, because I think the pressure on you then was something which you're not actually comfortable about. Wouldn't be my thing. So.
It's interesting. We ask these questions, right, live online tournaments cash quite a lot, and I would say if we had a chart of responses, it must be 90% of people have come back with live is their favorite sort of playing ground, and tournaments are their absolutely favorite format of poker, and we shouldn't be surprised, right? APAT is a live tournament organization, so
but actually I think it's not surprising when we're talking to amateur and recreational players, because actually there's a different dynamic there, and I feel it's more the competition and competitiveness and than necessarily grinding cash to make a profit, to add an extra income to your to whatever your lifestyle is.
Yeah, and tell me, Tristan, do you play the variants much, or are you a strictly hold'em guy?
There's a show there, Des.
There's a show.
Saturday night, professional and a celebrity. Yeah. Strictly hold'em. Yeah, we could have.
I like it.
Judges.
I like it.
Yeah, what do you reckon, Tristan? Get Tristan in sequins.
I see glitter. I see glitter. Beautiful. Let's do it.
If I came in just in sequins, we'd have people turning off.
I'll tell you, your ratings would surpass Trump. I have no doubt. I'm not sure, Lee. By the sound of it, I'm not sure. I'm not sure Tris is in. But I'll wear sequins for you if you want.
Yeah, but you're in that sort of mood at the moment after Thursday night. To be honest,
I'm
yeah,
still
you're
there. I am still there, I have to say. I'm not sure in a week's time I'd turn up in sequence, I have to say. Yeah, strictly
Anyway,
strictly
back to
hold
the
'em.
question, yeah.
yeah, there was a question. Yeah.
Funnily enough, it is a weakness of my game. In the last 6 months, I have been trying to develop a few more skills. We've been playing a bit of PLO, which we are competent at now. We're still a poor player, I think, but we're getting better. 7-card stud as well. I've played a few of the APAT games. Been going reasonably well. And the deuce to 7 triple draw. I think I cashed in. I cashed in a scoop as well.
Cool. So how do you learn a new variant? What's your method of going about it?
Well, the deuce to 7, I spent a few hours watching Adam Owen on his Twitch channel.
Yeah, he's good, isn't he?
Yeah.
Very good. Yeah, very good.
That was primarily my way of learning. Really, was watching him.
So you've sent him his percentage, I presume, yeah? So
I didn't think he was too worried about it.
Was he not?
50 or 60 bucks. So
yeah,
it's nothing to him.
No, he's fine. Yeah, it would. By the time he put it into Mexican currency and all that, just
he's got nothing left. Nothing left.
Yeah.
Come on, guys. What is the currency of Mexico? Pesos, is it?
I think so. Is it?
I don't know.
Yeah, no, it is. It is.
Is it pesos?
Yeah.
Fantastic.
Yeah, it is pesos.
That's got to be about 23 million pesos you got to send the man. 23 million. You're going to have to send it over the wall.
Pay up, yeah.
So the wall that apparently is being paid for out of the military budget. Oops.
Well, we now find out that Tristan's paying for it.
Oh, it's like a bad scene from Breaking Bad. Anyhow. So, how important is it to you, Tristan, to be a really competent player of the format? So, as opposed to, for example, just enjoying it. And the reason I'm asking is that I think it was in Manchester, and I can't remember exactly who I sat down with, but somebody showed me how to play OFC, and I never had as much fun as a sort of poker table in all my life.
That's when we were setting up the cameras,
yeah,
for it, weren't we? So we were learning how to play.
Who did it, Lee? Who did the teaching?
I want to say it was one of the Gotham guys. It wasn't Ian, was it?
I would say it's probably Ian Witter.
It could have been Ian. It could very well have been Ian. But I just found the thing amusing. Now, loved the game, and came home and started playing with Sean and did all of that. I just really loved it. Now, I'm never going to get good at a game like that, but boy, did I have a lot of fun playing. So, is that one of the barriers to players becoming really good at the sort of the variants? That actually it takes quite a while to become really good, and in theory, that's lost profit opportunities in Hold'em.
For me, obviously, enjoyment is very important.
Yeah.
But I'm afraid I'm still too competitive to.
No, that's fair enough.
I definitely want to be a competent. OFC, it looks brilliant, but as for my skills at it, there's no way.
There's too many cards. There's too many cards. It's great game. Listen, we're getting some comments in the old chatty box. Steve says cash is the only way to bankroll your MTTs. Well, clearly not the only way. Carl says, I really enjoyed the cash tournament that APAT first introduced at Brighton years ago. That was fun. Loved the cash tournament too, Carl. We had a lot of fun with that at WCOAPs. Did you ever play it? Probably not, Tris, I'm going to imagine.
No, not really.
That was a really fun event. Ironside, sad story here. Tomorrow night might be my last ever online game of poker. No fun at the tables for me anymore. Live is much more fun when people are in only one game. Well, it's a tricky one, that, isn't it? Because they're quite different in that respect. I mean, live is a ton of fun. I don't think there isn't anyone within APAT who doesn't enjoy live first and foremost. But online is, it's a little bit different. Oh, I mean, we like the real names, right? So at least you know who you're playing with now. I mean,
I think online has changed massively in the last 10 years. Certainly from the point of view of people chatting in the chat box and it being a bit more of a social thing. It's even with the real names, and even when it's APAC games and you get a little bit more chat, Yeah, it has lost something, and maybe it's just a case actually that is gone for good. And as much as everyone's trying to bring the fun back to the game and that kind of way of doing it, that it's not going to happen. And ultimately, you've got to find a different way of socialising with it and doing similar to what we're doing here, whereas you can play poker online and have a chat and banter with people in the chat box on a stream. Maybe that's the future of online poker, really, if you want the social element.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I hope you're getting a little of that from us, Iron. I know you join us every night, and we hope we can add a little bit of personality to the game. But generally speaking, you're surrounded by very good people when you're playing the APAT games. But it is very, very quiet on the tables. It's just not possible to replicate that whole live experience. So what else have we got here? Yeah, Carl says, Ironside, we had fun last night. Who knew?
Well, exactly.
Who knew? I mean, I'm all for it. And I think that's us from there, guys.
Do you want some breaking news?
Yeah.
Ooh.
Well, only because I just saw Carl's posted. So let me tell. I've only gone and booked. I've booked Mr. Pilgrim for the show.
Oh, great. Does he know?
Oh yeah.
Because Andy Black, he still doesn't know.
To be honest, I just told Emma, so it was okay. So it was fine. But it gets better. It gets better. So he's booked. He's coming on the show a week tomorrow.
Carl Pilgrim's
right.
coming on.
So,
do we even have a show? Are you just pulling a really cruel trick on him?
No. It's all good. So
he's going to show up. There's going to be nobody
no,
here.
No. So
it's a member takeover.
It's a takeover.
Oh, who have you got on with them?
Tomo.
No way, really? Tomo and Captain Carl.
Yeah, that is. They are dream teaming it.
Oh my word! It'll be like the first season of Star Trek. That's what I'm seeing in my mind. Tomo stood at a device sort of up front with his phaser on stun, and Captain Carl sat in that big controlling chair. Absolutely. Maybe we could have Ironside running the dilithium crystals. I mean, I'm all for having an APAT, staff of the virtual Star Trek. What is it? Starship Enterprise? I can't. My brain's going to hell.
You really, honestly, seriously, you genuinely did go and drink a lot.
I need to stop. I really need to stop the drinking now because I actually sound sober.
So can we just let Liverpool know it's going to need to be another 30 years because Des is going to need that long to recover. Yeah, so.
Oh dear. Hi, there we go. Oh, that's excellent. Looking forward to having Carl and Tomo on. That'll be amazing.
That'll be
Can we get them drunk beforehand?
I presume that's just a given, isn't it?
Can we just send them some of those hippie balloons? Can we send a stock of those over to Tomo and Carl?
I can't see a problem with that at all. It'd be
Maybe we could do it on video. What do you?
Yeah.
Oh, it's fantastic.
We could be our first Zoom show. Yeah.
Oh, it's absolutely fantastic. So, what do you make of the fact that there are no HUDs on here, Tristan? You're obviously a very capable online player. Good, bad, indifferent?
I'll be honest with you, Des.
Yeah.
I have never had a HUD.
Oh, good. Okay.
But I think it's still a disadvantage.
Yeah.
For some that do, but obviously my preference for the real games, I think that's a great idea. Or party of them. No HUDs, real names, I think is the future.
Makes a hell of a difference. I would agree. I would agree with that. It's nice just to be able to, even if we're just, and obviously Lee and I do a lot of watching, it's just nice to know who's who. And, while you'll always know 10 or 15, maybe 20%, if you're doing a really good job of your members' online aliases, it's so easy to mix them up and it's so easy to not know people. And not recognise people when they come back.
Are you a note taker, Tris, or are you just a memory guy, or how do you keep track of your opponents?
We take a few notes. I must admit, not as much as I should. But hopefully it's something I shall look into in the future, doing a bit more.
So when you say not as much as you should, is that because you've had sort of some training or advice or something in the past about sort of what you should do, or just stuff that you've read that thinks you don't do enough of that? Or
I just think, well, me personally, I've had a few nice scores over the lockdown, and I just think it's just general laziness. I should play a lot more than what I should, because I think there's still money to be made.
Is that a
playing
leak?
online. I
That's
know
probably
it's tough.
it's probably a
It
leak,
is.
isn't it? If you think there are ways that you can optimize your game that you're not currently doing, that's probably a little leak. But that's good because you know what it is, and you can fix that pretty easily if you want to. But you must have a really good handle on the APAT players. I'd have thought, Tristan.
Yeah, we do. We do know some. We do know some of the guys how they play. Yeah.
Well, you got a couple of peak hands there. You got 8-10 against 8 queen. That ace on the flop, basically golden. I have to say. So what else we got? So we didn't really talk through your style, and this is a big question. Everybody likes to learn about whoever comes on the show what your style is. So, I would craft this as, are you a numbers guy? So you're calculating odds as you go and you're making decisions based on them. Or you're more of a feel guy, you know the player, you're looking at them, you're seeing something. Are you aggressive, are you tight? How would you describe your game?
Well, I have a thing about numbers. I do like my numbers.
Oh,
so I'm definitely more of a stat guy than a feel guy. I like to think if I can put a read on a guy, then I'd like to say I can put it to good use.
yeah.
As for playing style, I'm probably a bit tighter than you would say. A bit tighter.
Do you have that brilliant ability to switch gears? Different points in the tournament. You just do the opposite to what everybody else is doing. Is that part of your makeup?
I'd certainly like to think so, Des.
Yeah.
To be honest.
Yeah.
I think the general foresight is you should do the opposite as what the table does. If you've got a tight table, you should loosen up and try and find a few spots. If you've got a laggy table, then you should tighten up and try and trap them.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And tell us, Tristan, about your experience with Neil and Black Belt. So how long were you in there for? Did you take a lot from that experience? Were they a good bunch of guys to be around? Were you sort of sad to see it, finish when it did?
I was gutted at the time, to be honest. They've been playing on there 3 or 4 years. They had a black belt live every year. It was only a £150 tournament. I think I finished third in the one I did play, and Neil actually won it.
Wow!
And to actually play with him for 3 or 4 hours was just immense, really, to be honest.
Was that held at the? There was a poker club in London. It was like a private club. It was held under the Arches. I seem to remember Black Belt having an event there, and I can't remember the name of it.
Yeah, that one you won was up in Newcastle, wasn't it? So you came third in, Tris. Was up in Newcastle.
Oh, Newcastle, yes.
Yeah.
Okay, so we've lost that table. I'm going to put up, guys. Oh, what do we like?
What table?
Chip leaders on table 3. So let's put up
table three.
There we go. We're back and live.
I haven't actually got up yet. I'll do that now.
Yeah. As they've just broken. We're just down to 24 players now. We're paying top 20 tonight.
I see a David Howard there.
Dave Howard is Dave playing from? He must be back from the Middle East if that's Dave.
Is that the David Howard I think it is?
I'm assuming it probably is, and I'm assuming he's back in the country for a bit. He was playing the squads game as well.
Good.
So,
well, I wish him the very, very best of luck if it is.
Yeah, I'm assuming it.
Really
I'm assuming it probably will be. So
Dave,
don't see many of the Gotham guys playing at the moment. They're all doing various things, and they do play kind of regular Zoom cash games and things like that at the moment. So keeping themselves entertained. So
messy. I would imagine that is a messy cash game.
Well, yeah.
What do you think?
I imagine it's very messy.
All sorts of side bets and prop bets and bad bets and medal bets and could be incredible. So you have replicated your black belt experience, Tris. You've gone on to join Blue Blood. How did that come about?
I think it was Dawn again. I think if I remember, I was only with them for a little while. I just decided that it wasn't really for me. If I'm honest with you.
Okay.
But I'm more of a just sort of get on your own, sort of get on with it, sort of a fella.
You've become a
But no,
solo
it's
artist.
good.
You know, having been in the black belt band, right? You can't replicate that, so you've gone solo.
Well, I'd say he's gone solo. He's gone solo, but also gone solo with a cause. I guess that's the kind of it certainly feels where you've gone the past few years, because you pretty much, there's not many tournaments now where you don't seem to have a percentage of your winnings up for Raise for Jack or whatever else you've got kind of on the go.
Amazing.
So how tell us how you kind of got involved with those guys and that cause.
Well, back in 2019, I did notice the Race for Jack and Stewie and Lucy and the whole thing with Click Sergeant. I'm not fully aware of the situation, but it was a friend of a friend who, sadly, their young child Jack died of cancer at 3, and I just thought of something. I thought it was immense. I mean, I'm not married and have no kids of my own, so I thought I'd actually try and do some good, and just decided to any poker online, I'll put a percentage towards charity. Any winnings? I thought it'd be a pretty cool thing to do.
No,
it's just amazing.
Stand up.
Yeah. Just
and obviously
absolutely amazing.
2 weeks after I say that, I actually win the next tournament I play, which is obviously pretty standard.
Oh, unlucky, mate. But you know, you've taken good luck. You've just got to say that the cosmos worked its magic, right?
Yeah.
That's amazing.
Run good was accepted, I'd like to think.
Yeah, no, Caps, absolutely, quite right.
Well, you know, and that the day up in Blackpool with the team event. I mean, I interviewed you after that tournament. It was probably the most emotional interview I think I've ever done in all my time with APAT. It was exceptional.
Yeah. I was still so drunk to be fair.
Oh dear.
The final table is a little bit of a blur. I remember doubling up Joe 2 or 3 times, I think, and having a mountain of chips and then no chips and then a mountain of chips, no chips, and I think I got them back in the end. But it was great fun.
Oh,
but it was the outpouring of emotion from everybody else that you'd won it. Genuinely, the room was just so happy. it was incredible. Yeah.
I must have had about 30 or 40 people come up and congratulate me, and I've never seen anything like it. And it was getting to me a bit. I almost went when you were chatting to me at the end, but we just about held off.
We kept it together, didn't we? Yeah. Yeah.
Oh,
it was a great weekend.
You should have taken him over the line, Lee, I have to say. Listen, talking about, cash, Lee and I have tens of thousands of pounds that we want to give away tonight, right, Lee?
Oh, yeah.
Tens of thousands of pounds that we want to give away to you guys listening in. All you have to do is put Turbo in the chat box. Just put Turbo in the chat box. Lee and I will look after the rest. We'll need that done before 11 o'clock, though, because that's when the banks close. Right, Lee? Nod.
Yes,
wink, wink.
Yeah, exactly. Yes, yeah. You could. That'd be great.
So remember, guys, 11 o'clock, Turbo Millionaire for a couple of APAT entries and a signed book. Okay,
so,
Rob Needham's book signed. Awesome.
Yeah, so Dave Howard's just popped in the chat. Hello, thanks, Tris.
Good guy, Dave.
As he busted with Ace-8 against Ace-King.
Oh, no, I didn't see that. Is he gone?
Yeah.
It was
word.
Just, another show bot, really, to be fair.
Yeah.
It was just
Standard. It's the power we have. People talked about online poker, and they always talked about the lever, and it's rigged and all of that. This is how it's rigged, just through bad luck. Come on the show, absolutely. Bad things happen.
So we're down to 22 players now in the championship event, so that's why we're now playing hand for hand as we're getting very close to the money bubble. But the players will be on a break in about a minute as well. And during that, you'll need to get your turbos in if you fancy playing Turbo Millionaire tonight. Dave Howard, get Turbo in that chat box.
Oh, let's do it with Dave Howard.
Let's get you on, yeah?
Oh, amazing.
That would be great. Over in squads, we are down to 20 players in squads, paying top 18. So we're 2 off the money in that as well tonight. So it's we're close to the money in both of them. In the Sunday roller feeder that started at 9 o'clock, 3 have gone through with stacks in the end. Joe Chillmade's got 28,000. Asa picked up 40,000.
Nice.
And Naz has 47,000.
Good,
So all three with good stacks for tomorrow. Have you played much of the Sunday roller, Tris?
We had a few goes at the stack nights. Well, do you remember when you had Rob on the line?
Yeah.
And you busted 2 of the guys. I was one of the guys. And that Saturday with the one with the knife.
Sorry about that, Tris.
Yeah. Yeah.
We just what we need is an audio bit with just a blanket apology to everyone, Lee. We just press that button every time. So, do you remember when? We just press the button, right? Yeah. We just press the button.
Sorry if we've ever mentioned you on the show whilst you're in a tournament, because you probably bust very soon after that. Yeah.
I tell you though, my greatest non-bocking session that I can remember in our current run of APAT shows, Lee, was the non-bocking of Joe Chillmade in the NHS event. I mean, quite how we didn't exit her through all of the discussion was amazing. It just shows it is possible to meander through the bocking zone.
Yeah, exactly. We can get away with it at times. We must do some good. We must be doing some good somewhere with it. Des. We must be. So. I can't believe
I'm sure you tried your best there, to be fair. But,
yeah.
We did. We certainly did.
Yeah, but it's not always possible. Yeah. And unfortunately. Yeah,
so, Tristan, how are you for playing poker overseas? Is that something you've done a bit of?
Yeah, we've done Vegas 4 times. I think.
Talk us through your Vegas experience.
Well, we went to Vegas the year. I was lucky enough to win the Worlds in 2014.
Yeah.
So we played a few events over there. I think we cashed in one. It didn't go exceedingly well.
Yeah.
But we win again the next year, and we had a good run in the Monster Stack. We made the last 300.
I remember this. Stack. That was insane.
Oh, that was just it was a bit to get in that tournament. I think there was 7,000 or 8,000 runners, and playing with some big names, and to still be in with 300 left.
Yeah,
it was about 5K, something like that. Yeah.
5 or 6K, I think.
Yeah.
Who did you end up playing with, Tristan?
Right. Okay. We get through with about average chips.
Yeah.
And we get Vanessa Selpst on my table.
Great player
too.
What's she ever won? Honestly.
I mean, just probably the best female player in the world.
Oh, you're right up there with all players, I'd have said. Great player.
Up there with the sort of Joe Chillmades of this world, yeah. So
we actually played quite a few hands with her actually, and she was starting to get a bit upset with me while I was doing it. But,
she can't get upset with you, Tris. You're one of the nicest guys around. Yeah.
Okay. Well, I will bore you with it if I may.
No, you carry on.
You got a little half an hour session. I only 3-bet 3 times. The first time we pick up Ace King suited, which she raises, I 3-bet. We flop 2 of the suits. She check folds to my bet on the flop. So about 2 hands later, we 3-bet her again. I think with 5-6 suited.
Nice.
We flopped 3-4 of the suit, and she check folds to my bet. And the very next hand...
We didn't show her, though. We didn't show her.
No, we didn't.
Thank Christ. Oh.
The next hand to the 5-6, she opens again, and I've got kings. So we 3-bet her again.
Of course we do.
And the eyebrow comes up, she's when she gets a bit gnarly, and her right eyebrow comes up. It's like, I'm going to get action here. But unfortunately, another guy 4-bets, and she folds, and then I shove and get it in. And another guy's got queens, and we hold.
Great. So you've showed a premium hand, right?
Yeah.
You can raise her any time after this.
It was, I actually put it on, it actually made poker news.
Oh.
So I think Adam Sharp was
brilliant
behind me at the time.
Yeah.
And actually managed to get it on.
Awesome.
What a good experience, though. Did you
There's
did you give her a wink or anything? Did you just say, "Hey, I'm an Essex boy here. You can't be playing that rubbish against me."
I couldn't believe it when I got the Kings and I thought I'm going to do it again.
Yeah, she'd probably have called you in that if that other bloke hadn't, four bet.
Yeah.
Oh, not to worry.
Oh, it's good. It was good fun though. It's good fun. I think I met later on day 2. I met an Irish guy.
Yeah.
I didn't know who it was at the time, but he basically we started talking and chatting. I said, I've been to Vegas a couple of times, yeah. And he said he'd been to Dublin. I said no, and he just basically tore me apart. He said, "What? You've been to Vegas? You won't come to Dublin?" And I thought, "Oh no, sorry, I will do." And I don't know if you know the guy. He's a very, very good player. He went on to finish 36, I think. Is it Sean Prenderville? Do you know
Prendergast. I don't know him. I've heard the name, but not somebody I know. But yeah, I'm not surprised that there was an Irish bloke there trying to do a bit of tourism. That gets beaten into us at a very young age. Come to the country. Oh, you've never had Guinness like real Guinness.
Yeah, we had such a good laugh.
Oh, it was good.
Such a good laugh. It was just a shame. I just lost the flip blind on blind to Bustwell at the end of the day. But when you've got 300 left, and
that's
there's
incredible
like
run.
I think it's 1.3 million up top. It's like, this is why we play, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, at 300, you're at, you're in a smaller field than the APAT Worlds you won at that point.
Yeah.
Wow, the possibility is huge. And did that whet your appetite for a main event? I mean, would you be beside yourself with happiness if you managed to sat into a WSOP main event?
He decided he was going to go to Dublin instead.
Oh no.
It's the main event, perhaps one day.
Yeah.
I'd like to think one day, but there's so much value tournaments over there. I mean, I wanted to go this year because it was 3 years since I've been.
Yeah.
Now, obviously, this year is probably
it's a write-off.
It's not going to happen, but next year, definitely.
Yeah. Well, listen, let's get Turbo Millionaire done, and maybe we'll come back to the World Series of Poker, and we'll get your views on the online World Series of Poker, which has had its schedule announced, as I understand it.
Oh.
So, do we have a candidate?
We've got a victim. Yeah. Yeah, very much a victim.
Fantastic.
Can I just pop off and get a couple of beers?
Yeah.
Oh, you do that, please.
Chris, go. You might as well go and take a break because we've only got Carl Pilgrim on the line. So honestly, don't worry about it.
We'll drag it out if you want, Tristan. We'll drag it out for 15 or 20 minutes. Okay. I'll ask the questions really slowly.
No, fast.
Yeah, you're all right, Carl.
Yeah. All right, Tristan.
Hello, mate. See you in a couple of minutes, boy.
Yeah, all right.
How are we doing, Carl Pilgrim? It's good to have you on.
Very good, thank you.
So what have you been up to over the last couple of days?
Not a lot, just spending time with the kids.
Keeping it quiet. How are you feeling about the current pandemic situation? Is it getting any better, do you think? Or are you still being very, very cautious?
Yeah, obviously I'm still going out for me daily walks with the dog and what have you, but staying clear of supermarkets and places where there's going to be lots of people.
Yeah, I must admit, I feel very uncomfortable going into those places.
Yeah, I think same with Emma. She started going to the supermarkets, but she's obviously doing her social distancing.
Yeah, I think
best of our ability.
I guess we're gonna learn a lot from this. When hopefully we get it over. We get over it soon, and we end up with some sort of I don't know, clean bill of health, if you like. But I was out today. I was telling Lee before we started the show that I had to go to my daughter's uni today to collect some of her stuff that we couldn't collect because they chucked them all out just when the pandemic sort of broke. So collected it today. It was my first real trip out, 100 miles, whatever it was. And, I was very conscious of touching doors, and it's just, so many, and there weren't many people around. They'd managed the exit very, very well. But all the same, it just, it's a different life now.
Yeah, well, they say that we've got a second spike coming. So, we'll see what happens there. But fingers crossed it doesn't come to anything and we can get back to normal.
So most importantly, how's Emma?
The lovely Emma.
Oh, she's good, yeah. Yeah, Yeah,
Did
she's,
you that was a bit of a split set. If you were trying to think which Emma. Oh, that Emma. Oh, yeah, that Emma.
Yeah,
Okay.
Ah, she's too good for you, Carl. She's too good. You're definitely punching above your, weight there, I think. It has to be said.
Yeah, she puts up with a lot.
And she can probably drink you under a table many, many times.
Oh, without a shadow of a doubt.
Oh, well. Listen, we're going to do this thing, right? Lee, what's our target? We've got 5, right? It was young Rob, right?
Did, but it was a slow time. It was like about 2 minutes and something odd. So it should be beatable, I think. Carl's quick, so if he can get 5, he'll beat the time. I reckon.
Okay, we're gonna give this a shot.
Try and beat JP's time.
Is that what you're aiming for? Yeah.
That's the time to beat. Okay.
That was special. That was, wasn't it?
Yeah, that was ridiculously good. Yes.
Yeah.
Come on, Pilgrim.
Oh, it was 2 minutes and 6 seconds. So I've still got it on my the timer. So.
Okay. So remember, Carl.
Okay then.
You have 150-50, right? And you can be smart. It was Rob Swindles who said 50-50 on the 5th question before I even asked the question. It was amazing. So you're going to be fast, right? Okay.
I should try my best.
You'll do your best. I know you will. So first question. Okay. Are you ready? Here we go. Okay. What is an ibex? Is it a Liverpool fan, a deer, a goat? Is it a hotel group? An ibex.
It's some sort of horned deer, isn't it?
It's a deer. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry, Carl. You've just lost. Okay, that was a joke. That was a joke question. We haven't actually started. Yes. You maybe missed the Alan Horsburgh show.
Oh, if you've missed the Alan Horsburgh show, you've got to
Carl, go back and watch it. Oh, go straight to the I don't know, about 10 minutes before Turbo Millionaire. So we're at about 10 to 11 in the Alan Horsburgh show. So 50 minutes in, he tells you about his experience on The Real Who Wants to Be a Millionaire, and he was asked that question, and it led to calamity. Absolute calamity.
It's carnage. Just go watch it.
Absolute calamity. So we are going to start now. So if you're ready, Carl, we will start the clock with this first question. So the world famous arena in New York City is Madison what Garden? Circle, triangle, square.
Square.
It's the right answer. Well done, Carl. So press that when you said it. At London 2012, what sport took place in the Olympic Park Velodrome? Tennis. Cycling. Deep. Fantastic. Right answer. Okay, we're 2 for 2, Carl.
He's on for JP's time here.
You've avoided insults. So question 3 is coming. Here we go. By what nickname is the England cricketer Kevin Peterson popularly known? Kipper, K-Pow, KP, K-Bo.
KP.
Oh, he says KP. Oh, that's the right answer. Question 4 is coming, Carl. Here we go. Which Shakespeare play begins with a storm at sea? A Winter's Tale, Hamlet, The Tempest, Macbeth.
Tempest.
Oh, we like that. We like that. That's 4 for 4. Here we go, Carl. Final question. 50-50?
Yeah, why not?
Okay. What name was given to the ball used in the 2012 Olympic football tournament? Was it the Albert or the Ruby?
Oh, God.
Yes.
Okay, Albert.
It's the right answer. Wow, that'll have been fast, Carl. Well done. That's 5 out of 5, my friend, in a super quick time. I don't know if we have it.
1 minute and 17 seconds.
Whoa! Is that the second fastest time by a second?
Yeah. Just if he's not, he was. I mean,
you got to go for it, right? You got to go for it.
But still, it's 5 out of 5 on top of the leaderboard.
I have to say, Carl, that was an exceptional round. Very well done. Second fastest time of all time by a second.
And really nicely, Rob Needham in the chat saying, "Good luck, Carl. I don't want to win my own book."
Well, yeah. I mean, this is the big part. It's a very unique prize this week. You've got Rob Needham's book, and I don't know if you've downloaded Sharkbait, Carl. But download it and read it. It's really, really entertaining. Really good read.
I'm going to do that, actually. As I say, Bob's a member of Blue Blood as well. So he's been promoting his book there, so
Good.
I'll show it.
So there you go, and you're going to have a hard copy, an actual, physical book that Rob's going to sign for you, and you want to put that one. You want to put it sort of in a cabinet somewhere.
I'll put it next to my medals there.
Once you've put it next to your medals, and who knows?
Yeah.
If Rob makes the breakthrough, that could be a valuable little item in years to come.
It won't go anywhere near eBay, I promise.
God, oh man, I tell you what.
But we've got one more shot at it, but that time's going to be tough to beat by anyone tomorrow. Whoever wants to come on the show tomorrow night and try,
it's going to be really tough.
That is going to be a tough one.
It's really tough.
JP's banned.
JP, yeah. And listen, I've got to say, Carl, you mentioned eBay. £4 now is the asking price on the 4 poster sideboard. It's down to £4. So if anybody has £4 on eBay, 4 poster sideboard, it's quite a unique piece also. Right, do we have any other questions for Mr. Pilgrimley?
Well, not really, because we're gonna chat to him for ages a week tomorrow, so I don't want to ask too much. Yeah?
Let's do it. Look forward to speaking to you then, Carl.
Yeah, thanks, Jack.
Give our love to Emma and the kiddies.
Shall do, mate.
Cheers.
Cool.
Cheers, buddy.
Cheers, Carl.
Take care,
guys.
Carly.
Bye.
Take care, mate.
Wow. It was quick, Lee. That was quick.
Yeah. How were you with those questions, Tris? You were all over those, weren't you, I reckon?
I would have been all right up until the last one. I had no idea, like Carl, to be honest.
Yeah, well, I'd have had to guess that as well. Yeah. But I think I'd have gone with the guess that he went with, so...
Yeah,
it worked.
Yeah.
It worked out well in the end. Okay, so there we go, guys. Carl goes to the top of the leaderboard. Hard to see that time being beaten. And maybe this is the last week for who wants to play Turbo Millionaire.
Nicely done.
Yeah, well, maybe it is. Maybe it is. So maybe we'll do something else next week.
We might well chase something. So just we're still playing hand for hand in the championship game. We've got 22 players left. We're playing top 20. The bubbles just burst in the squads game, and Joe Chillmaid was on the bubble, unfortunately, so she's missing out the money. Now, she's also the shortest stack in the championship game. This could be a horrible night for her because she could pretty much.
Are you saying it's double?
She could double bubble. Yeah.
I think I can take some responsibility for that.
Oh no!
We talked about Joe earlier, didn't we? Our favoured moment following her in the NHS. We didn't balk her, and look what's happened. Double bubble would be incredible.
Yeah. So Des, one for you. So Tom Banks asks and says, was the poker club under the arches loose cannon?
Yes, that's the one. That's the one. It was Roy something or other. You lovely guy. It was a lovely club, and I don't think that it ran for a tremendously long time. It probably just sort of opened at a particularly volatile time for unlicensed clubs in London. But it was a lovely little card room. It was loose cannons.
So just as you were talking about bocking Joe, she's just busted the championship event in 20 seconds. So it's yours. So
sorry, Joe. Cuppa's on me.
If you want to put your compensation claim in to Mr. D. Duffy, care of APAT. But so we're one off the money now in the championship game. As I say, we've just hit the money in the squads game. So are you an aggressive bubble time player, Tris? Do you try and take advantage of when we're getting into the money, or are you somebody that just keeps your head down, gets in the money, and then pushes on in the game?
Well, I've been on the bubble a few times, sometimes with a lot of chips, sometimes with medium chips, and sometimes with no chips. And I know what's more fun.
Yeah, I think we all do. Yeah. So.
Yeah, I think it's all chips there. So, I mean, you can, you can just you can raise any two primarily, based on positional wise, and if you're the big stack, you want to be attacking the middle stacks really. You want to try and keep the short stacks in, and just try and take advantage that way.
Yes, you're not the first person that's come on the show and talk about this. Kind of the obvious mentality is that you get the short stacks out of the way because that means you're in the money, and then you're laddering up. And actually, but actually, the more efficient way to do it, or to longer term way, is actually to keep the short stacks in and really attack the middle stacks. That's how you can build your position, where then it's just you against a lot of short stacks. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I've played tournaments live where I've seen guys increase their chip stack 25, 30, 40% on the bubble.
Yeah, it's huge.
Just by playing any two and just waiting for short stack to bust.
So Tom has said Houghton, and I think it was Roy Houghton. He's quite right. I remember now, as opposed to Ray Houghton. That would have been odd. That would have been really odd. Ray
That
Houghton
would have been very,
running
very
a poker
strange,
club under the arches in London. And Tom says still holds special events. And I think Tom might be on his iPhone somewhere, because I think an autocorrect has happened, or else young Roy is in restraints now. It could be restaurants. I think it's restaurants.
I'm pretty safe it's a restaurant.
But I quite like the thought that he holds special events and he's in restraints. It sounds like something out of Hannibal Lecter. Fantastic.
It's more like Gangs of London.
Gangs of London.
Yeah.
Fantastic. Yeah.
Have you watched Gangs of London?
Me, yeah. I thought it was the most violent thing I've ever seen.
It's really funny, Jen. In joke for Jen and I, whenever occasionally you'll get a TV program that'll come on and they'll warn you and go, just warn you that this program's, is, has violence from the beginning and blah blah blah. Jen and I look at each other and goes, "Nah, we're good. We've watched Gangs of London." It's like, trust me, no, there can't be any program out there for anything that you could warn us about. We binge watched Gangs of London. Seriously,
I can't believe you did it. I thought that both of you were quite sensible and upstanding in your community.
It's a great series. It's a great series. Really, really good. Yeah, and it's coming back for a second season as well.
So so the action and the general storyline I thought was very good. I mean, the action was insane, very, very, very violent. And I'm not anti that. I like a good, violent film like the next person, but it was very violent. But some of it was a little odd, like how you can run a gang while at the same time running this multi-billion-dollar sort of executive company. It was that bit I struggled a bit with, I have to say.
Really?
Yeah.
But we've been doing APAT for 14 years. What's the?
Is this a Netflix thing?
And no one's worked us out. No, I think it's Sky Atlantic, Des, or Sky One.
Sky.
Yeah, I think it was something like that. Yeah.
I've never seen it.
Tris.
Tris.
Tris, you're an Essex man. You have to watch it.
Trish, you are gonna love it. Seriously,
there's too many other gangs around here, to be fair. Isn't that one?
But Essex gets a bad rep though, doesn't it? Really, or
it's not like Turry.
Yeah. Well, yeah. I mean, but the trouble is that's what everybody, I guess, assumes it is now. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I'm right on the Essex-Suffolk border, so I'm nearer the tractor boys, really, to be honest.
When I was a young lad working for Sky, we were at Sky Poker. We were doing a deal to take over sponsorship of the Poker Million, right? So we all know the Poker Million. Ran live on Sky for many, many years. Very popular event. It was one of those classic events. And had initially, of course, and historically been sponsored by Ladbrokes. And it was the Ladbrokes Poker Million. So it was going to be very tough to take that over anyway. But we decided we'd have a shot at this, see what we could do. So we ended up, there was a delegation of 4 of us that went from Sky. There was Richard Flint, who was the CEO of Sky Betting and Gaming, sold it for $3.8 billion to Stars last year, and he's now a non-exec director of Flutter, which owns everything from Paddy Power to Betfair to Sky to Stars. It owns everything. So that was Richard, very formal guy. There was Nick Rust. I'm pretty sure Nick was with us, who's now the CEO of the British Horse Racing Board. So the top guy in horse racing in the UK. He worked for Sky Bet at the time. And with Steve Downer, who was the gaming director, and I went as the head of poker at the time. So the 4 of us, we all went out to Barry Hearn's Essex mansion. Right, that's the link, okay? So we went to this opulent place, and we were all sort of reasonably, quite excited to meet Barry, who was like a god at Sky. So with the broadcasting team, Barry provided a ton of games, content, programming. So he was like a very serious player at Sky. So off we went, and we sat. He placed us on 4 chairs in front of this big wooden desk that he had in his very large and opulent office.
Wow.
And he then just proceeded to F and C and F and F and F and C every second sentence. And I'm sat there going, "Oh Christ, I'm not sure I can handle this." Being sat with these three other guys who are quite senior, this is just the weirdest thing that I've ever seen. But very much the character that he is.
Yeah.
Very funny, very very funny. Lots of stories, but he is the big voice in any room.
Yeah.
In my experience.
I mean, I just seem to think of him from the snooker perspective.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously they all love poker as well. I mean, I've shared tables with John Higgins.
Yeah.
And Marcus Campbell. Right. They're both snooker players.
That's right.
I think it has quite a big fraternity, doesn't it? I think.
Yeah.
Poker.
It makes sense. It's there are, I guess they have so much downtime on the snooker tour.
Yeah.
That poker is an easy game to turn your hand to, and of course with Hearn running snooker, it was very easy for him to encourage or to get these players into some of the big televised poker games as well back then. But you don't see it as much today, though, I guess, which is a shame.
Well, yeah, I remember seeing Steve Davis on one of the late night poker things, and I think Ken Doherty, didn't he run quite deep in the Irish Open one year?
Yeah. I mean, Ken
he
plays a lot.
Really, really well.
There was a few of them that were quite good. Steve Davis was a serious poker player. I mean, he was very serious about the game. And a lot of these guys would go to Vegas and play in the World Series, play multiple events. A lot of them were sponsored by Ladbrokes in the early days. Again, you've got that Barry Hearn link, and that was cool.
Yeah, you now see we've seen footballers like turn up and play the Goliath, and you see that each year. A lot of them will play, and obviously it was the whole David Hay thing.
Yeah.
But it seems to be less kind of celebrities or sporting celebrities playing just the regular poker. Regular poker tournaments, but the tours, you don't see it as much.
It's true, and maybe Lee, would we go as far as to say that actually there's a lot less celebrity events? That sort of side of things seems to have gone away.
Yeah, well, they've changed what they. We talked about this before about how sites choose to promote and who they use to promote, and we seem to have been. You go through cycles, don't you? Of it's professional poker players, and they're the big in thing, and now we seem to have moved on to vloggers and Twitch people, and that seems to be
it's all about reach
now at the moment. So when it used to be a case of what do you want to do? Well, I'd love to be a sponsored player. Well, isn't that straightforward anymore? Of even how you achieve that. It's become a completely different game.
It's all internet. It's all internet based now, isn't it? Really, to be honest.
Yeah, it seems to be about what your reach is. How many followers have you got? What can you therefore bring to the site, and quite rightly they'll sponsor you to be a player and have a career and a job if you're able to bring something in for them, and if you can't, well, ultimately it's not of any interest to them. We've bubbles burst, by the way, in the championship event. Should have just made that point. So we've now lost 4 players quite quickly. Colin McCarthy's finished in 20th. Max Schneider, who won the PLO last night. Very well done to you, Max, from Germany. He's bust as well. Andy Coyle's out, and we've just lost Jamie Edgill on that table, which is why we've now switched tables again.
And I tell you what, Lee, having discussed Gangs of London, we're going to lose Tom Banks. Hopefully not permanently. He'd just like to say, I've really enjoyed playing Poker Squad, but I've just knocked out my skipper.
He's going to get kneecapped.
He will get kneecapped. He's out. Tom, we know where you live, okay?
Gents, which table do we have up?
So we've got table number 2 at the moment.
Ah. Right, okay.
And we find Gerard Harry all in with Ace King against the 10s of Edward S.
That's Edward Stamborough.
Ah, okay. Ed Stanborough. Yeah,
Ed Stanborough, yeah.
Okay.
They've switched it round. So what you used to have when the name didn't fit in the window, you used to get the first initial and then the surname, and they've now switched it round so they show the first name and just the initial for the surname, since they've done the latest update. For some reason. So Tony Trippier is on there as Anthony T. So Kai's come in the chat box.
What the hell?
Anyone but Garden in the championship. So that must mean Dave Garden. He is. Yeah, he's currently 9th.
Was it TK? Who used to? I think it was TK who used to. Talk to people if you're a poker player and you were there with your partner or whatever. He'd say, hello, Dave, or whatever, and then he'd say like, hello, lady, and her surname. And I just wondered, did he ever meet Dave Garden's wife? Because that'd be really awkward. Would that not be awkward?
Dear. Probably not for Tony. No, he'd be okay with it. Yeah, but
Mr. Trippier is all in.
Oh, Lee, you've got to explain to me why this has happened. Anthony T. So
they've switched it. They've literally switched it around in the latest update. Like, don't ask me why.
So if you've got if you've got your middle name in there as well, is that it, or?
It's just if your name doesn't fit. If you've got quite a long name, I think.
Christ, couldn't they have done it like A Trippier instead?
Well, that's what it used to be, but they've switched it round. So, because obviously, I don't know, feedback from players said they'd rather have first names than surnames. I can only assume.
Oh,
he gets it in and finds a triple.
That's Tony for you, isn't it? Pretty much.
Yeah, absolutely.
He'll take another swig of gin and go on to the next hand. It's fine. Yes, it is a bit weird, I must admit. I don't quite understand why they would choose to keep the first name there, but that's what they've done. So.
Do you mind if we go back to the the charity aspect I was talking about?
Oh yeah, let's do that.
Oh well, yeah, because I wanted to come back because I haven't. There's one other bit I wanted to talk about. You might talk. That's what you were going to chat about now, Tris. So go for it.
As I said, the last few years I've been playing live poker, 5% for charity, 2.5% for race for chat, but 2.5% was for another charity.
Yeah.
Do you guys heard of Amelia's Dream to Walk?
Yes. This is Ben Walton, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, an amazing
Ben's daughter,
effort.
Amelia.
I mean, what Ben has done, it's been incredible.
What Amelia's done has been incredible.
Yeah, but I mean the support of her dad, and our own Tom is heavily involved in supporting Ben as well, and Tris, absolutely fantastic. And of course, what Amelia has achieved, the progress has been insane. I mean, if Ben is still out there, it'd be lovely to get him on just to maybe talk about that and just create a bit of further awareness if we can. But fair play to you, Tristan. I mean, that's an amazing effort from you. Yeah,
we managed to put a few £100 towards it last year. Unfortunately, this year the live poker hasn't obviously.
That's a good point.
I haven't been able to play anything. So, Amelia's doing fantastic from what I see. I believe she's already had one operation. I think. Hopefully, Ben may be able to.
I'm gonna.
There he is. There he is. Give him a call.
I am just gonna call him.
Let's do it.
Call him and see if he answers.
Walty pies, everyone.
I'm gonna see if he answers. Hopefully, he will. Depends what device he's on. Hello. Are you there, Ben?
Can you hear me?
Oh.
Yeah!
Check that out, guys. High tech. Hi, Ben.
Hello.
So,
all right.
This is an amazing thing. I mean, what about the likes of Tris and Tom Brady and others who've been giving you guys that little bit of support? It's nice to see in the poker community, isn't it?
Hey, look, I'm just totally blown away by it. If I'm being brutally honest with you.
Yeah. I mean, it's nice to see it. I think sometimes the poker community is the heart in it is questioned, but there are so many examples of I think poker players doing the right thing, and this was a lovely cause to support, if you like. And how is Amelia getting on now, Ben?
Oh well, she's getting on absolutely amazing. Just give me 2 seconds. I need to mute the stream because it's on a delay.
It is. It is.
Right, there we go. That's right. I was getting like feedback from the stream. Like, oh look, that's better. I can hear you all now. Ooh, modern technology. No, do you know what? She's getting on absolutely amazingly. So she had the operation last year. And it was just one of those ones where after the operation, this is going to sound really, really weird, but her legs used to be so stiff all the time.
Yeah.
And after the operation, I just said to her, can I just feel and see what they're like?
Yeah.
Anyway, I was in utter tears, like literally bawling my eyes out, because it was like moving like our leg. There was no stiffness anymore.
Oh, great.
So yeah, but now I mean, that's just like stage one of it.
Yeah.
Now it's just learning how to have to walk again, and she's just doing, just exceeding every expectation.
Yeah, I mean, she's obviously a real goer, if you like. And it's a brilliant age to do it, right? It's a brilliant age to do it, but she always seems to have a smile on her face, and is proud as punch of her progress. But I mean, what a change this will make to Amelia's life, right?
Oh yeah, totally. I mean, it's just like things now, like what she can do. I mean, we all take for granted, just like going to the toilet by ourselves.
Yeah.
Before, like for her, it wasn't possible, but now she can just go up the stairs and do what she needs to do. So it's amazing.
I have to say,
of our mind as well.
I have to say, after a few tinnies, Tris doesn't take anything for granted. He, going to the toilet. No, that's got to be a planned activity, right? He's got to get that clear in his head before he sets sail. Am I right, Tristan, or am I right?
5 minutes to the hour.
I'm with him on that one. I mean, years ago it used to be no problems, but now getting older, it's like you've got to plan these things.
So listen, it's all right us having a bit of fun, but it is not fun to have your feet torn apart as you've done several times. Talk to us about 100k walks and destroying your feet. Talk to us about that.
Des, is quite funny. I was actually meant to be doing one this weekend.
Oh my God.
I'm so thankful for this virus.
Brilliant.
I'll tell you, long may it last.
Oh yeah, no, too right.
So this year I was meant to do 2 back-to-back weekends. It was going to be kind of like the final one, because the one beat me last year, and me being a stubborn little so-and-so and not letting anything beat me, I wanted to finish it this year.
Yeah.
But no, it didn't happen. So next year I will be doing it. So watch this space. I won't be doing it I'm not going to do it for me now. I'll do it for another charity, because we've raised over £108,000 now. So yeah.
Wow.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
That's an amazing effort. And I think people should be in the chat box saying, well done, Walty Pies. I mean, the lad grew up somewhere along the line. You went from being a bit of a character online on, the gambling network forum. And suddenly he's grown up. It's like, wow, that is so impressive. Christ.
Children do that to you.
Well, they don't do it to everyone, Ben. They really don't. They really don't. That is massively impressive. And what's your better half's name?
Tanya.
Tanya. There we go. Yeah. So how is Tanya coping with all of this?
She's doing all right. As you can imagine, it's hard. It's harder, I think, for the mothers, going through all this. But it's just, you've just had to do what you have to do, really. And like with those walks, I think Tom messaged me one time when we were chatting about it, and I just said, "Do you fancy coming along and doing one?"
Yeah.
He's like, "Yeah, all right."
He's still walking funny. There was about 2 weeks after that.
He hadn't really realised quite what he was letting himself in for.
It was about 2 to 3 weeks after that walk that poor Buster couldn't get a day out at all.
Do you know that? I'll tell you a funny story as well. Like during the walk, it was like, "So, Tom, how much training have you actually done for this?" And he was like, "I'm going to be honest with you, Ben, pretty much nothing."
Oh my God.
I was like, and this was like kind of 10 kilometers in, so deep in my head I'm thinking, oh
Jesus.
So,
was he wearing like a pair of loafers?
No.
You're just thinking, I'm going to be carrying this Irish bloke throughout the rest of this course. Yeah.
And I have never seen him jump up so high in all my life. So he got a really bad blister.
Yeah. Oh.
And as you're probably aware, they put the iodine on it in the medical tent, and oh my word, the screech that come from him, and honestly, I thought he was going to hit the ceiling of the tent.
Wow. Was there?
Because I've never seen him move like that. It was like, whoa.
But like, did you not at any point consider thinking, well, maybe I could, I don't know, swim 1,000 meters or something, or play 57 consecutive chess games? I mean, why did you take on such a tough physical task?
Well, it was, for me, it was like, look, do you know what? A lot of us, not all of us, but are blessed with the ability to walk.
Yeah.
And I just, do you know what? You know, I'm going to use my ability to walk to get her walking. And I saw these challenges, and I kind of thought the same. It was just like, 100K, it's only a walk. It's nothing. Boy, oh boy.
How many of them have you done now, Ben? 3?
So I did 3. So the first one I did was I walked from London to Brighton, which was fantastic.
40 minutes on the train, Ben. 40 minutes on the train.
But it's 40 minutes on the train. But do you know it's 27 hours walking?
Oh, sweet God. At least it's downhill. It's all downhill.
Oh, the end.
Okay, I know it's not.
But and then the second one I did was Bath to Cheltenham, back to my hometown. But unfortunately, remember what the weather's been like this week? It's been baking.
Yeah.
It was like that. And unfortunately, I got heat stroke after 30 kilometres and I had to pull out. But the next weekend, I finished 70 kilometres around my local park just to finish it. And then the last one was with Tom around the Chiltern Hills. It was kind of, I don't know, it was a nice, it was actually a really nice walk. And it's almost therapeutic, he says, until you finish. And then you feel it in your feet. But no, it's nothing. It's the feeling of finishing it is just amazing.
Yeah, no, I can imagine.
We had Amelia at the end, and she held my hand and Tom's hand, and she finished. She asked if she could finish it with us.
Oh,
so she walked that way. I'd love to see what she's like doing it now, because some of her improvements are amazing.
Yeah, listen, I have to say 108,000 raised for your daughter is an incredible effort. I mean, how long after a walk do your feet feel like somebody else's feet?
After the London to Brighton one, I had blisters so big. I woke up the next morning and couldn't actually get out of bed.
Wow.
And I'm going to let you into a little secret. And I bawled my eyes out in the reception of the hotel in Brighton because I couldn't move. And I didn't know how I was going to get home.
Wow.
And my car was in London. So I needed to get the train from Brighton back to London.
40 minutes.
Drive.
Oh.
It's 40 minutes, but then I needed to drive back to Cheltenham, which was 2.5 hours.
So you got to use a brick.
Blisters.
You got to use a brick on the accelerator, right? Forget the brake. Clutch is overrated, I find. If you're doing the right speed, you don't need a clutch.
Are there any police?
There's no police.
In the APAT?
No police.
Okay.
No police on the M4.
I think
Shirley's.
I was gonna say I don't think Shirley's in the chat box anymore. So
that's
Shirley,
cool,
Shirley, if you're there, just pop your fingers in your ears for a minute.
Can you see that mute button? Can you just click on that for
We had Detective Sergeant Shirley Cole on the show last Sunday night. I think.
Yes, it was. Yeah.
Don't you worry, we're all right there. We're fine there.
Honestly, if she is listening, Shirley, just now, can you just press Alt and F4?
No, that's brilliant.
No, thanks, guys. So, it's been so nice to have so much support. I mean, I've never in my wildest dreams thought I would get like this much support. It's been outstanding. Wow. But it's all Amelia, really. I mean, I can only take some of the credit. I mean, she can take most of it because she's just been fantastic through all this. Yeah,
well, listen, Ben, she has obviously been amazing, and she's clearly got a lot of work ahead of her, but she has a lot to gain, right? And that's all, totally. Right? That's all because of the awareness and the cash and all of that important stuff that you created. So I think it's fair to say you've probably gained a huge amount of respect in the poker community, and that's a good thing. That's something to be proud of.
It's never a bad thing. No, I know. It's like I said, my heart goes out to everyone who supported her. So I mean, it's not even like the donations; it's just the messages and everything like that. And you know, like
Yeah.
now, just everyone.
Are you still taking donations? Do you still have your page up?
Yeah, the page is still up. So we are still taking donations. Any donations now kind of go to the Onward Physio, which she has, which obviously doesn't come cheap. It's been quite difficult to do over this period because there's been no face-to-face physio.
Yeah.
I was gonna say, how's it been with lockdown with her progress? Has it hampered it to a certain? Obviously, it's been great for you because it means you can put your feet up and not have to worry about doing walking, which obviously is, I can understand the benefit of yourself, Ben. But for Amelia, has it affected her progress or not really?
It's affected it in a positive way.
Oh, wow. Okay, that's good.
It's affected her in the fact that we've been able to do a lot more.
Yeah, spend time with her.
Because obviously you have a lot of day-to-day with school and everything like that. So there's only so many hours in the day you can do the physio. But when they're at home and you think to yourself, I'm going to kill these kids in a minute because they're... I've had 13 weeks with them.
I was just going to say, Ben, how's your teaching skills?
Right? Well, you know, being an accountant, I can do the maths. But I just can't do the English. I'm not a word person. Everyone knows I'm not a words person. I mean, it's like, but no, that she's excelled in blackjack and
good girl.
Taught her some poker as well. So
GNF, right? Let's get GNF back.
Well, this thing you see, blackjack is perfect for adding. So I'm gonna get.
He's Ben. I was gonna say, Ben's not lost it. He's still good old Ben.
Oh, absolutely. I'll tell you what, there is a level of maturity there that is incredibly impressive. Ben, do me a favor. Put your link, just write it into the chat box so it will come up at this point in the video. I think that'd be a good thing to do because you'd never know. You'd never know. Maybe some people will really think your story's a good one and throw a bit of support around because I know that there's a lot of things being supported at the moment, but this is a particularly good one.
It's been quite hard because obviously, it's 100. It's actually I've just got the total up here now. If you'd like to know, with gift aid, it's £109,569.47. Wow! Which we managed to raise.
I feel like we're on some sort of telethon or something.
Let's do it. Let's do it. Hold on. Let me see if I can pull off Geldof. Right, ye miserable bastards. Get into your bank accounts and send money now. Oh, hold on. That sounded more like the IRA, I'm afraid. That wasn't Geldof. That was quite threatening, wasn't it?
I was just getting worried when you said you were going to pull him off.
Well, I did wonder where he was going for a Saturday night.
There he is.
There's Ben.
He's back. He's back, folks.
I've just put the link in.
The scary thing is that's
Great.
probably not the worst thing Des has said in the past 10 weeks on this show, so don't worry about it.
I'm impervious to it now, Ben. Impervious.
Yeah. Don't even ask him how he's been coping with lockdown. You really don't want to know.
Well, he must be far too happy that Liverpool have cured world hunger and everything.
It has given me some much needed joy. That I have to say.
I'll take that off. They have been the best team this season, and it pains me to say it, but. Congratulations.
No, thank you, Ben. I think they have been the best team this season, but let's see. Yeah. I mean, next season's going to be a whole new ball game. No pun intended. And we've made a final table, guys. So listen, why don't we say good knocked to Ben? Right, Ben. Thank you very much for coming on. Obviously, just in the chat box. Amazing effort for Amelia. So, big thumbs up from us. Please give her a kiss for everyone at APAT.
I will do. Thank you so much.
Cheers, Ben.
Cool. Speak to you soon, Ben. Take care.
Take it easy. Bye.
Thanks, Benji.
There we go, guys. Ben Walton raised £109,500 for his daughter. That's amazing. An amazing effort. And he did it the hard way, Lee.
Well, yeah, I mean, crikey, all those walks and all that kind of stuff. I mean, but you've got it's everybody, isn't it? It's the support, and it's as he says, the money is great because it obviously helps the progress, but it's about the support and the messages and the goodwill and people just caring. Yeah. It's just great, isn't it? And Tris was saying, just you seeing that and going, I can do something to help there.
Yeah. No, that's great.
Yeah, in whatever way that might be, I can do something to help, Tris, isn't it? That's what it's all about, yeah?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. I found myself lucky enough in a position to just help a little bit, I felt. And that's an amazing amount of money, though. I mean, that's
huge.
just phenomenal.
That's huge, but he has earned it. He's worked hard.
Oh, yeah.
Worked hard.
And she's going to spin the whole lot up on blackjack, right?
That's what I heard. That's what I heard.
Yeah,
Did you hear the same thing?
Yeah. That's pretty much what I heard. Yeah. He's got a blackjack school going on there now, and that's what's going to happen.
Apparently, he's got 15 live blackjack dealers, and he runs them out of Malta. It's amazing. It's amazing. It's called waltypies.com. It's a live casino enterprise.
Oh, I'm so going to check if multipies.com is available. So we've got a final table. Come on, so let's give these guys a little bit of love as we're on a final table now. Chip leader on this final table is Ed Stamborough. He's got 3 million in chips. Then we've got Jacob Georgiadis with 2.4 million. Kevin O'Donnell's there. Dave Butler's there. Stefan Fischer, the skipper of the Netherlands team that won the World Champs last year. He's on another final table. Neville Harrington, who's picked up medals in the past 10 weeks with us online. Luke Woodall and Eddie Nex, who's here as well. Eddie's been regularly playing squads and championship games and very consistent player. So these are the final 8. Who's your fancy here, Tris?
I don't recognise many of the names, to be fair. But I mean, Edward's going to be really hard to beat with his chips.
I've got a theory here as well, Lee. I think Jacob's going to try and ladder.
Oh dear!
What?
Wow. That's more awkward than the Georgia one that you normally do.
Georgia. Let's do it.
Dave Butler is my pick. Dave's a long time APAT player.
Yeah.
I think this could be his time.
Isn't Dave from down near Tom's part of the woods? Or am I completely making that up?
I thought Dave was London way.
No, that's definitely not Tom's part of
no, definitely not.
Of the country.
Had a message today from Ian Matthews as well.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Has not been about to play much during lockdown, but is now available to play, and so has just dipped in and started playing today. And he said he might well play squads a bit more seriously from next week.
Fantastic.
But he might end up playing individually as well. He's going to see. But nice to see Ian back playing. Saw him on the results tonight. So well done.
Do you know I saw a little while ago with Joe Beavers on? I don't know.
Yeah, I saw him pop into the.
I don't know if Joe's still there, but if he is, say hello, Joe. We tend to talk about late night poker a lot on this show, don't we? They're just, and we're including Tristan in that. There just hasn't been too many guests who haven't answered the question, how did you get into poker? Without saying, well, I watched late night poker back in, whenever it was, 98, 99? It started.
Yeah, it's weird. I'm one of the few, I think, because, that wasn't my kind of thing. I think I started playing poker about 2004. But it wasn't anything to do with watching it on TV or anything. That came later that I kind of started watching on the TV.
So why did you, or how did you get into it?
Opened an account to have a bet on the National and saw they did poker with a friend of mine, and we started playing, just dabbling and seeing what it was about online, and then had won a trip over to the Caribbean, and
there you go.
And that was that, and kind of got hooked from that. Thought, I think I can do this. This is all right. This.
Yeah, that's not a bad first experience.
And then 2 years after that, didn't really do much then for the next 2 years, and then was in one of the magazines one day and came across APAT, and went to play Luton season 1.
Fantastic.
And that was it, really.
Awesome. Great story. Great story. John of the Murrays is in the chat box, and he says, is Des thinking of Dave Potter? You're absolutely right, John. It was indeed Dave Potter that I was thinking of. Dave, I think, is Plymouth or down in that sort of area.
Yes, that would be right, because we used to do the southern region when I used to look after that in season 2. Yeah,
absolutely.
First time I met John was, I think, Brighton. Was first time I met John for the regionals that we used to do.
Yeah, John, I think was picking up points from about 5 different regions. It's just
Yeah,
amazing. The guy is just amazing how he gets around.
Saw an opportunity and will have made the most of it. So that's for sure. That is for sure. So when did you get into? So APAT was for you then. Was that Worlds was your first APAT event then, Tris, or you played the team? You played the team event that year as well.
Oh, sorry, just pouring a beer out.
No,
Right.
hey, priorities. No. So was your first event the team event then for
Okay,
Black Belt, and then you played the Worlds after.
Literally, yeah. The first event was the team event, and 2 months later was played the Worlds. 2014.
Yeah.
And I've played pretty much bits and pieces every season since, I think.
Well, we've been very lucky to have you. You've done some great comms for us at live events as well, on final tables and things at the Worlds and stuff, which is always appreciative.
Yeah, it's nice to have a sensible one with the silly one.
Well, yeah.
Do you know, Tristan? I've got a story, because the first time I did a little co-commentary on the live stream, right? And I love the live stream. I was absolutely huge supporter of the live stream. It was in I'm going to say 2012, but it might not have been 2012. It could have been 2011. But I'm pretty sure John Murray was the beneficiary. I think it was the UK Amateur Championship. I've got a feeling it was played in Victoria Casino in London. Could that be right, Lee? And I seem to remember you and I calling. I mean, I was only on for about 12 minutes. I think I was thrown off after 12 minutes.
That sounds about right.
Yeah, it's like the final table had started, and I think it's the one that John went on to win. So it would have been 2011 or 2012. And I remember we were stood sort of, opposite the dealer, and I seem to remember it was Alan Lake, who just sat there gently with his hand on his testicles. And do you remember that? And I remember just
I remember the conversation.
Whiling away 2 to 3 minutes, and Lee was probably wondering, where's this discussion going to? And I was talking about tells, and he was sat there or just stood there thinking, what's Des going to do with this? And I remember saying, do you think is it a tell that Alan Lake is sat there so confident that he can gently cup his testicles while he's in a hand on the final table of the UK Amateur Championship? And I just remember the chat box went a bit crazy. It's like there were people in pubs watching this on plasma TVs at the time, and I think people were burbling into their beer. But yeah, I got thrown off.
Was it
Chris.
the one that
wasn't allowed back?
Was it the one that John had? It was being screened in his local.
Yeah, that's the one.
Game down in Portsmouth.
That's the one.
Yeah,
that's the one.
Right, yeah. I'm not sure where. I can't remember where that was. That he was on that final table. Was it what? Did he win that one then? Yeah,
I thought he did. I thought it was the Victoria. He'd need to. I'm sure he would.
It was London, 2010.
Was it season 4? Okay, Betfair.
2010. Yeah, that's right.
Okay.
Yeah, that was. Now, interestingly, the guy that finished 4th in that tournament, Dave Butler.
Oh.
No way. Really?
So do you want let me run down that final table.
Let's go from 9 to 1.
So 9 to 1. So 9 was Dougal Phelps. Then Darren Shallis was 8th.
Great.
Colin Wilson.
Yeah.
Perry
great.
Garland.
Yeah.
Barry Cullen was in 5th.
Yeah. Oh, wow.
Dave Butler was 4th.
Yeah.
Alan Lake was 3rd. The one and only Don Roberts.
Oh, what a final
was
table.
2nd. And John Murray took it down. Wow. Very young looking photo John's got on his Hendon mob, by the way. It's,
we can't say anymore. Hold on, Lee. Jacob's laddering.
Hey.
I'm here all week, but thankfully you only have to listen twice now.
But I've never actually noticed your testicle tell, Des, to be honest. But I've never looked.
Well, if you see Alan Lake in a deeply concentrated hand, and he's got his, he's got his hand under the table, Mike Postle style.
But the problem is that what we know is the testicle cupping is only polarizing the hand. We don't know whether it's strength or weakness. That's the problem.
We weren't entirely sure.
We're not sure.
We weren't seeing the cards, so there was a lot of speculation going on.
I mean, it takes social distancing to a whole new level.
Well, I saw somebody post a thread up somewhere. Don't ask me where, but somebody actually posted a thread up today. As serious as you like. I think it might have been in the Liverpool fan group. I think they wrote something. Just tell the truth, guys. tell the truth, right? If you touch your testicles, do you smell your fingers? Right? There was no like haha or smiley face or anything. It was a genuine question. And it got a lot of genuine responses.
Wow. Okay.
I don't know. I mean,
Anything to get Liverpool in a conversation, you.
well, yeah. I mean, it seemed odd to me, I have to say. I don't know why you'd even ask the question.
No. So we're down to 6 quite quickly here, aren't we? Which is it's still Ed who's out top with 3.2 million in chips. We're getting close to that medal bubble, yeah.
You say we got a pick each here, guys. You say you've got Dave Butler.
I don't know who Des went for. Jacob.
I went for Jacob, yeah.
Yeah.
I don't think he's...
I'll go for Stefan the Dutch because I know Marco and Danny. I don't know Stefan, but we'll go. I'll go for Stefan.
Oh, Stefan's an emotional guy.
He's a good lad.
If he can get to a medal tonight, he will just be very, very happy.
But if his mates with Marco and Danny, then he's
a sound guy. Yeah, Stefan, very long-time supporter of APAT as well.
So Tom Banks is back in the chat box, and he said it's a load of bollocks. Now, to be honest, that could have referred to a lot of what we said tonight. Was there any particular 10-minute section of the show, Tom, you're talking about, or just the whole thing?
Yeah, it's a Saturday night. Yeah, that's the way it is.
It's 5
to the hour. So players are on a break. So we're down to 6 in this. We're final table in the Omaha on the squads as well. We're down to 8 in that now as well. Jason Chilmade is chip leader in that. 1.5 million chips. Paxo's second in chips. Then we've got Batlam Shelia in third. I'm not quite sure. Eddie Nyaksu, who final tabled this championship game, is now on the final table of squads as well. Dean Pearson's there. Ironside is 6th in chips. Igor Asimov is 7th consistent player. And Brandon Stannard, who Brandon has picked up 3 bronze medals now.
Wow.
In championship games.
He'll be selling those.
Over the last 10 weeks. Yeah. One day, he says, one day it will be it'll be a silver or a gold.
I'll tell you what, he'll be selling those as earrings in the centre of Birmingham. I'm sure he will.
Make great Christmas tree decorations.
Listen, Lee,
perfect.
What you reckon during the break, right? We've got a couple of minutes left. Why don't we put Tristan into the old Greyhound Challenge?
Oh, go for it.
Shall we do it for a laugh? Tristan, look at your screen. Look at the stream. Can you see a card of dogs?
Oh, hold on a minute. Hold on.
Oh, he's having to play with the buttons a bit. I think he's been watching Match of the Day or something, Lee. What do you reckon? He's not been watching us at all.
We have been messing around a bit.
We have. Oh, for God, we definitely have. How about those dogs, though? Can you see those dogs?
Right, we're up.
Oh, we're up. Okay. So what you have there is 6 greyhounds. You might have seen Glenn Lamming. He was on a couple of weeks ago, and he did a virtual.
Glenn,
there you go.
Glenn nailed it.
Oh, he's fantastic. Fantastic. So you've got 6 greyhounds. You've got odds on them to win, place, or show. So win, obviously, first past the post. Place is the top 2. Show is the top 3. And obviously the odds will reduce depending on what you want to bet on, right?
But Tris, if you're not doing anything but to win here, I'm going to be very disappointed.
We obviously there's only one bet here.
Okay. Well, what you've got to do then, on the right-hand side, beside the card of fixtures, you've obviously got the odds there to help you, but you've also got a table of last results. So, for example, Dog 1 had a win, but then a no show and a no show.
All right, yeah.
Right? You've got performance, so, how they all sort of effectively rate from a performance point of view. And then you've got racing for this particular race. Now, do your thing. I'll give you €1,000. I will take it out of Lee's coffee pot.
Not hardly denting it.
Hardly denting it.
We'll have trap 4 actually.
Oh, well, everybody goes for trap 4. So we're going for trap 4.
Yeah, we'll do the whole lot.
For the
Whole lot
win?
to win.
At
Yeah.
6.95.
Yeah.
Oh dear, I'm not sure about this, Lee. What do you think?
We're all going to Vegas for Tristan. Yeah.
We might. Oh my word. Okay, let's do it, guys. 6.95. We're gonna stack €1,000 on trap 4 to win. Now, Tristan, here's the thing. If you win, you're gonna get just close to €7,000 back. Obviously, see, it's play money. Of course, it's play money. You're going to be 30 seconds behind the commentary, right? Because obviously you're watching it on a 30-second delay. So I might just give you a little clue as to how your dog is doing through the race, okay? Right, trap 4 we're on, guys. Let's start the thing.
Let's do this.
Sound? Do we have sound? Here we go. Right, they're in their traps. The hare's seen, and trap 4's away, and
The
he's...
starting traps, which open, they're off and away. And 6 breaks out well on the near
We're in the
side
top
to
three,
lead the way.
Tris.
2 quickly coming up to join it, though. 4 and 5 are right behind. And then 1 and 3
We're
is the race
second.
around the first bend. And 2's gone racing through to take it up. 4 moving into second now ahead of 6. And then comes 1, 3
Come on,
and
4.
5. Down past halfway.
Go on, the 4,
and it's
dog.
2 with a decent lead of a couple
Right,
of
we're
lengths
coming
of
around the
lead
last
from
bend
4.
now.
1's on the inside, trying to stay
Oh,
on.
I'm
4
not sure we
likewise
can
on
make
the
up that
outer.
gap.
But 2 is the one to catch.
Here we
as they
go.
start
The
turn
final
in.
straight.
3 moving into
No,
second.
we're
just
falling
ahead of
away,
4,
Tris.
towards the finishing line. 2 coming back slightly.
Oh, we showed.
4 was third.
4 was third. Oh, we've lost that money. We'd promised that to Ben. Oh, I wish he'd gone for number 2. Number 2, 2.93. Wasn't even the favourite. Oh, he was the favourite.
Oh, comfortably the favourite. You can't
He
bet
was
the
the
favourite,
favourite.
can you? Surely
It's no
not.
fun at all. No fun at all. Unlucky, Tristan. Had a go. I liked your ambition there. An ambitious bet indeed. Right, so let's get this off screen and we'll get the boys back up for their return. There we go.
Yeah, so final 6. So just talk to the payouts here now as we are in the latter stages. So these guys are all guaranteed $94. Then top 3 prizes tonight, $237 for third, $326 for second, and $455 up top, plus the $109 PP Live
Right.
passport ticket as well.
Nice.
So nice payout for them. Actually, since the final table started, Ed's kind of stayed fairly static on his chips. He had about 3 million when we started this final table, Tris, didn't he? Really?
Yeah, he did. He just seems to be keeping his head above water. And
Yeah. Unfortunately, so we lost Luke Woodall in 8th, and then Eddie bust in 7th. Blinds of 40,000, 80,000. So
we're actually there's not really a short stack, is there? Really?
No, there isn't really. Yeah, Dave is
deep.
Dave is the shortest up, but he's got 15 bigs. So nobody's really in major issue at the moment. But that's what you'd expect at this point in the tournament.
Yeah.
There should be a bit of play in this, isn't there? And what's your take? Because the way the stacks are here, it's easier for players to sit back and try and ladder up a few more places, isn't it? Whereas if you've got a big chip leader that's being aggressive at the table, it's a lot harder for you to sit there and not get involved.
Yeah, nice hand for Jacob there. Top 2, or there are 2 pairs, I should say. Yeah.
Yeah, so it's going to be... So Jacob just takes the slight chip lead. So interesting raise under the gun from Dave, and Ed's...
That's quite a sizable...
Reshoved all in.
Sizable shove.
That is a cheeky bet.
Well, it's a tricky one, isn't it? Because it's... I suppose we've seen this in the past where the all-in shove to a min raise is basically just saying, get out of the pot. I'm not, it makes it a very, very difficult one for Dave Butler to call unless he's made it a small bet because he's looking to induce for action, isn't it? Really?
I mean, I don't really like the min raise from 15 bigs under the gun because it's any action at all. And if you've not got a premium, not really a fan of it, but. Yeah, I mean, unless
just setting it up for for something later, but you've got to be lucky to then get that. You're hoping you're going to get some sort of premium under the gun in a few orbits, and you might do it again, and then somebody will think, oh well, I can do that again, and this time you can snap them off. And but it's not an easy one, is it? Really, to be doing that. It's interesting to see whether anyone's going to play or what Dave's going to do now. So Jacob's got to walk there. I'd like to have seen Dave just shove it all in, because his million stack is still, was still a third of Jacob's. It's still more than enough for.
He's still got equity, yeah.
Yeah, to make the call.
So it's funny enough that the conversation we had earlier now applies to Jacob, really. I mean, at 38 bigs, he's got 17, 22, 21 bigs around him. Although saying that, it's between him and Edward now, really, after you took that pot of him.
Yeah. So what you really want here is Jacob and Edward perhaps to be going after the likes of Kevin, Neville, and Stefan.
While Dave's still in. Yeah.
Yeah, and looking to just kind of deplete those stacks. Do you think the medals play an impact in how people choose to play a final table, Tris, or is it down to individual players as to whether they care about that kind of thing?
It's possibly down to the individual player. I mean, I don't know Kevin, Edward, and Jacob, but I imagine it would mean more to someone like Stefan than to perhaps someone like Edward or Jacob.
Yeah. Well, Neville finished second in, I think, our first Sunday roller, the one that Dan Lowe won. So he's had a number of good results.
Qualified in for a fiver, right?
Yeah, he was in for that. Both of the guys were in that first Sunday roller for $5 and won about $900 and $1,200, I think it was. So.
Yeah, I'm looking to get back on playing online after a few weeks off, guys. So I'll have a look at playing the.
Yeah, you said to me earlier on. So your situation is your furlough's been extended, so it's kind of just having to chill out and not a lot you can do at the moment.
Well, literally, my situation is I'm a forklift driver for a car transport company, and our job, it's going to be really slow. I think car sales have been at their lowest since the 1940s.
Yeah. Well, just completely fell off.
It's completely gone.
Yeah.
So yeah, I got the message through. I'm going to be furloughed until September. So the first few weeks of lockdown, I played online most evenings, to be fair, for 2 or 3 weeks solid. And do you know what? It was just getting a bit demoralising. I mean, don't get me wrong. I had a few. I think I had like 3 or 4 four-figure scores, so I'm doing okay. But it's just sit in front of a laptop night after night. I just don't think I could do it. It just needed a week off.
Yeah, no, I don't think you're right. Regulate it, take it in your stride.
As I said to you, Tris, you've got to have a balance with it.
Yeah,
it's these guys that grind playing online poker day in day out, and they treat it as going into the office as an all-in call. Yeah. Perfect timing for isn't that's amazing, wow. Isn't it? So he's very, very unlucky there on the river, but exactly what we were talking about, Tris, with the under the gun. He's made a bit of a raise again. He set it up brilliantly. Yeah, he set it up brilliantly with the ace king. Has got Edward to reshove again with and has got rivered. Yeah, so yeah, perfect strategy. Just you can't do a lot about the way the cards go for you, can you?
You can't knock variance on that one. Yeah.
No, not a huge amount you can do there, unfortunately. But yeah, so as I was saying, so the guys that are playing grinding online day in day out, it's tough.
I don't know how they do it.
It really is. You've got to have a mindset for it to be able to do it. I did about 3 months once when I was in between jobs and thought, well, I'll give that. And I'm similar to you, Tris. I had some really good results, and actually, I think I was working out, well, actually, I'm earning, good money doing this. I'm at home, and then you realise that actually you don't see anybody or really talk to anybody. And I know lockdown that's been the same for a lot of people anyway because of the lockdown situation. But yeah, it is tough. And you say when you're just staring at a screen with cards, and Chip's moving around all day. It's.
I mean, I feel really bad saying this, but I've loved lockdown. I've literally played online when I wanted. There's literally fields 50 yards from my house. I've been walking 3 or 4 times a week. It's just been lovely. And I just feel I feel a bit guilty about all the hard working people.
Tomorrow's a big day for me. So tomorrow is 100 days in a row of completing all 3 rings on my Apple Watch. So all the exercise, movement. Wow. And I'm not a great one for doing that kind of thing, but it's just the kind of thing. It's just happened. And so if you complete all of them, I think you stand up for 12 points in 12 hours a day, and you do burn so many calories, and you go and do 30 minutes of exercise a day. And tomorrow is 100 in a row of completing the whole lot.
That's some achievement, young man.
Yeah. So but that's only just from actually being on lockdown and saying, right, Jen's at home as well. So both making sure we get out and walk the dog every day, because there are occasional days where you kind of like, oh well, she had a good walk, yesterday, or she had a pack walk yesterday for 3 hours or 4 hours, so she's knackered anyway. So, it's raining today. So, but without fail, we've gone out every single day.
Excellent.
And done it, and I feel much better for it. So
that's a very good point. I mean, the last 2 weeks I've been really lazy, and near enough getting up at 10:30, 11, and then it's almost dinner time, and then there's sitting on the telly, and I haven't gone out as much as I should. I'm going to try and these last few months at least go out, like you say, every day, or Monday to Friday. Definitely every day.
Yeah, and I want one for two. I did say when I got an Apple Watch that I'm not sticking to these rings. It tells you to get up and do this, and twice a day it tells me to breathe. It's like, what is that all about? But it's this deep breathing thing. You're supposed to do a couple of minutes of deep breathing. I'm not. And I always said to Jess, I'm not following this. But you just kind of get into this, and then I counted them up and went. And then I put it in the calendar to go, right, that's day 100 where we've done 100 in a row. Yeah. And it's like, that's pretty cool. So
I think you ought to enjoy hitting that milestone with a hot dog. And perhaps a large Coke.
I won't do anything like that. Yeah, I should go down to the beach. That's what I should do. Yeah. Can't think of anything worse. Yeah, it's.
I mean, how far from the coast do you live, Lee? Have you experienced any of that sort of per se? Or?
Well, don't go anywhere. We don't. Us locals don't go anywhere near it. So I live just out on the outskirts of Wimborne, which is probably about on a good day I could be at Bournemouth Beach in sort of 10-minute drive, something like that. Yeah, something like that. Yeah. So yeah. So but we as people living in kind of Dorset and the surrounding areas, aren't going anywhere near any of that nonsense at the moment. It's crazy.
Tristan, I got involved with a company in Bournemouth for just over 2 years. So it's a really interesting and enjoyable project. And, I took a little flat down there.
Yeah, as I say, you had a flat down there.
I took a flat, and I would travel up and down to, my family home. So I'd go down on a Monday morning. I'd be leaving the house here at about 5 o'clock in the morning. I'd be down there at 7:30 in the office, happy days, right? And then I'd nick out a bit early on a Friday, about 4 o'clock, to beat traffic, to beat the M25 traffic, getting back to London on a Friday evening. So I was there for about just over 2 years. And met Lee many times. We would meet up for a sort of a pint or a cup of tea or whatever it was in a pub, discuss APAT business, whatever. So, I was literally a 3-minute walk from the most beautiful beach you could imagine. I was right by it. And, when I left the business, we ended up selling the business. So when I had completed that project, I left the business. The lady who was our PA, gave me a picture frame with a picture of the beach right by my flat, because in the nearly 2.5 years I'd been there, I hadn't visited the beach once. I hadn't even gone over to look at it, Tris. Yeah. I haven't got time for that. Well, I'm a busy guy.
I'll tell you a story. My previous work company, I'm talking 15, 20 years ago, were actually bought out by a company in Bournemouth.
Oh yeah.
And I very nearly moved there myself.
Yeah. It's funny how you don't see things on your doorstep. Back in the day, I used to work for a company that was owned by ThyssenKrupp, German conglomerate, And so my boss was a German guy, and we often working late in the evenings, working through the numbers and forecasts and all this kind of thing. And he'd often say, "Oh, so have you been to? You must have been. We're going to do this on the weekend, or we're going to visit this, or we're going to see this," because he was staying in the UK for a couple of years whilst doing the work. And I'd be like, "Oh no, I've not seen this." I'm like, he said, "How have you not seen all this stuff that's on your doorstep? And we're here visiting, and we're going to do it all." I'm like, "Yeah, it's crazy what you can take for granted because it's on your doorstep, isn't it? And you don't have the time, or don't have the time to do these things."
I have to say, absolutely beautiful part of the country down there, absolutely beautiful. And while I didn't go to the beach on my doorstep, many's the time, I drove out sort of, at lunchtime or an evening, just by some of the coastline, and you stand up and look over there. It was absolutely gorgeous. But of course, the reality of my situation was, I was packed and ready to go home for the weekend on a Friday morning, and I was back down there on a Monday sort of morning, and the rest of the time was just spent working.
Yeah. And I would imagine that your trip back to London during the summer months just takes ridiculously longer because
it took a bit longer. But then I even sort of forgotten about this, but the place that I stayed had a swimming pool. It had a goddamn swimming pool in the back garden.
You had an awesome place.
I was like 10 seconds away from the swimming pool. I never went out there. Are you kidding me? I got time for that.
Yeah.
Which is the same with all trips. I mean, I've been to Vegas 4 times, and the 4th visit was the first time when I saw a show.
The first time you saw a what?
The first time I saw a show.
Yeah. I thought you said a shower. I thought you just lost your, Tris is the smell good champion.
But we had Natalie Bromley on the show a while ago, and she's done like Vegas 10 times. Oh yeah. And she said she'd done Vegas 10 times, and hardly seen anything other than Vegas. Just and poker. That was pretty much it.
That's hardcore.
Next year, guys. Next year.
Well, next year's a big trip, isn't it? It's a good reason to be in Vegas next year. So
yes, and Phil TC's 50th. Obviously, right. I'm a little bit worried about going with him now. Obviously.
Yeah, but it'll be fine. It'll be fine. Honestly, it'll be okay.
Listen,
well, he's not been back on the stream, so I'm just assuming date night's gone well.
I hope so. I hope so. Nice to see somebody having a good date night. I tell you, you're in for a hardcore Vegas week when you get off the plane in McCarran and somebody in your group, having walked through like at gate A21 or whatever the hell it is, sits straight down at a machine. You just know it's going to be a hardcore week.
I wouldn't have got the machines in the airport. Jeez.
I know, they're right at the gate. Right at the gate. And you've immediately got a decision. Do we just leave them there for the week? Just leave them. We'll pick them up on the way back. Or do you just go with the plan and just sit down and...
The thing is, what's great about heading out to Vegas from the UK around World Series time is the fact that I guarantee you'll bump into somebody at the airport in the UK.
Oh my God!
Oh, what a hand!
How close was that?
Yeah, Stefan gets this, but yes, you'll always bump into somebody that you know.
Oh yeah.
You didn't know was on your flight, but you now know is on your flight from Vegas. Guarantee then by the time you get the other end, you'll see more people that you kind of go, oh right, didn't know you were out. And by the time you've checked into your hotel and just gone for that first walk down the strip or starting through some hotels, and you just keep bumping into people. It's incredible.
I had the same when we went to Prague. I had Ian Thompson sat in the row behind me, who I didn't know was there. That was quite a nice surprise.
Tomo's a delight. A delight. Listen, Ironside heading off to bed for the evening. I hope that's not it for you forever, Ironside.
He's just bust 5th in the squads tonight.
Unlucky, my friend.
Cracking result.
And listen, you don't need to be playing. You don't need to be playing to stop by and say hello and all of that stuff, right? We're always here every night. Well, every night apart from 5.
Yeah. Basic weekends. Yeah.
We're part-time, truly, very part-time.
We've been part-time furloughed now, haven't we? So
we are indeed the YTS department of poker, Lee and I.
I'll tell you what I was going to say. I saw this week, only because we've always chat books, and I see Dara's got a new strategy book, a PKO strategy book. out.
I
So
haven't
he's-
even read the first one yet.
you should.
I've got it. I've got it.
Well, you should, yeah. But
I'm
it's
still
so
on
yeah.
Betsy's, but-
So is obviously we had Barry Carter on a while ago, and Barry co-authored the satellite strategy one. But yeah, he's brought out a PKO strategy one, which is yeah. Well, if it's anything as good as the first one, I would strongly recommend it for people. Well, maybe we'll try and get him on the show, Des.
Let's get him on for Tuesday. Do we have anyone booked for Tuesday?
Andy Black's on Tuesday. So.
We don't run the show on a Tuesday anymore.
Oh, do we not? Do you want to tell Andy or shall I?
Honestly, we should do something with Andy. I know I keep saying this, and we have to make contact with him again. But, you know, he slighted us, and...
I'll tell you what, Steve. If Steve 40 lets us know when his birthday is, we'll do a special birthday show, with Andy Black.
I'll tell you, I don't know if you... So, we had this weird situation where Andy was to come on the show, right? And, you know, in fairness to him, he called on, we planned it, he was good to go, called on, a bit nervous, and he texted me about half an hour before his slot for the show. And he said, Des, I'm in Scoop. I'm playing 3 events. It's a bit of a nightmare, but don't worry, you know, it'll be fine. So he comes on, and you can hear the beeping and the urgency in the background. And frankly, we can't talk to somebody like that because it's like
you
want
was
a
Tony
serious
Trippier,
piece,
but on
right?
a whole nother level.
Oh, he was, because you want to do a serious piece, right? And we'd done a bit of prep, you know, done a bit of prep on questions and a bit of research.
I looked at his Hendon mob and everything.
And that was long, right? That was like at 160 results.
It took me ages, yeah.
Too right. So we said to him, no, Andy, you know, just go and do your thing, right? Play your games, and you know we'll organise it for another night. So he sent us a message at the end of the night, said, you know, sorry about that, lads, but thanks for, you know, that bit of support, understanding. I won the event, by the way, 70 grand, happy days, right? So that was fantastic. So
of course, Tris, you can imagine Des and I going, really pleased for you.
Yeah,
really,
absolutely.
Really.
So the funny thing is, when he was on the show, the bit that he was on for, I said, and he was going, these events, you know, I said, well, look, I said, you go and do your thing, right? Play the events. We'll sort this out another time, and we're on 20%, right? That's what I said. So he went anyway. And so anyway, the following morning, after he'd connected with us, he connected with us at like 1 a.m. to sort of have won this thing. The following morning, I dropped him a message and said, you know, haha, well done, 20%. And within a couple of minutes, my phone rings. So when I see on the thing, it says Andy Black. So, okay, he's called me. So you know, obviously, I'm sat. It's furloughed. I'm sat with furloughed. I'm not furloughed. I'm sat with the kids, right? So I walk into the office and I start talking to him on the phone, you know, and we're talking for about a minute, 2 minutes, and then he says to me, he says, do you not use the old video? And I said, hey. So I take the phone from my ear. He's on video. He's been looking at my ear for the last 2 minutes. I didn't bloody know. I didn't know. It's just said Andy Black. Do you not do the old video? I said, hey. I look at it. Oh my God, he's on the, and he's got a child. He's got a child in one arm, right? He's got a pot in another arm, and he's walking around literally sort of panicking. He sort of, at one point, I thought he was going to ask me how to cook something, which frankly, I'm not that guy, right? I really am. I eat very little. I'm a really odd eater. I eat very little. But I suppose what I do eat, I can cook, but not a lot more than that.
It's very plain.
Oh my God, it is.
It's
very plain, and that's fine. That's me. I'm plain. I've no airs and graces.
Nothing wrong with that.
But yeah, he was on video. He was on video for the 2 minutes. I think he was looking in my ear. Embarrassing. That's just embarrassing, right? So we had a really interesting chat. He agreed that, you know, we would do a really good, deep interview. And then we discussed some other stuff, which was really interesting, which I got back to Lee on, and I thought, well, we could do some stuff with Andy Black. But in fairness, we just haven't called him back. We just haven't got. It's been busy, Tris. You know, there's been a lot going on.
Seriously,
there's been a lot going on.
Oh dear. I had a client phone me the other day just for a quick catch up. His office has been shut, and he was hoping to have it back open again in July, but he was actually phoning to tell me. Actually, I thought when he called, he was phoning to say, right, come back in the office next week, but he was actually phoning to tell me that's not happening. But anyway, but he says, how's things with you? I said, I've been busier the past 3 months than I think I've ever been. I have not stopped.
I think it's
Literally,
nuts.
I literally have been 9 in the morning till 1, 2 the following morning for 100 days, basically. Yeah, it's just like, it's been mad.
Can't wait to go back to work for a rest, right?
Yeah, great fun, but absolutely mad. I can't wait to go back to the thing where I can go out and just visit a client and sit in their office for the day drinking tea. I mean, it's just like, roll on those days. This whole thing of being at home, it's crazy stuff.
Seriously though, boys, these games have been phenomenal. I mean, I haven't played all of them myself. I'm sort of a week on, week off kind of guy. But they've just
but that's the point, though, Tris. But that's the idea of them, isn't it? Is they should just be. When we set this up, I never imagined people would play, 7 days a week for what we know on week 12, and just the thought of doing that is like. There's some crazy people out there that have done it, and fair play to them. Love every one of them for it. But it was never, we never designed it to be like that. We wanted it to be a chance for people to dip in and out and play when suits. It's incredible those that have stuck with it for the whole lot.
What are your plans online for the Worlds? Can we get sort of? Are we getting a schedule out soon? Are we getting some games sorted for that? Or?
Well, we could. What can we say?
We can't say very much, Lee.
We can't say a huge amount on that. What we can say is the original plan was going to be that we were going to do something on a similar date. But the reality of it is what is currently out there and on offer at the moment across a number of sites, but predominantly Party at the moment for the summer is just so good. That we've decided we are probably going to just hold off till later in the year.
Hold off announcing. The discussion went a bit like this, Tristan.
Yeah.
So we quite like the last bit, but we're just holding. We're just holding at the moment. But it was a bit like that, Lee, wasn't it?
Des, if it's another Liverpool reference.
No.
Definitely no Liverpool reference there.
The reality of it is we've got plans, but we're not ready to release anything yet. And in the meantime, there is a cracking summer of poker. Obviously, GG have just now confirmed the World Series schedule, which is actually it's better than I thought it was going to be. I think it's missing a few things, but actually it's better than I thought. And they've got some really low buy-in bracelet events. Tris, have you seen these?
Well, I've been thinking about downloading GG. I haven't done it yet. What do you guys think? I mean, I've heard good and bad things about it.
Well, what about the actual platform or about the schedule?
About the platform.
I've not heard anything overly bad. If you are gonna open a new account and you need an alias, I think you should go with Triplin.
Where did this Triplin start?
It's my fault. It's my fault.
It was a classic. It was a classic moment.
It's completely my fault. I was doing the intro for the chat box because Des was, I don't know, having a manicure or something, doing something. He had something going on and he couldn't do his usual call out, so he said, Lee, can you do the call out? So I did, and I was rattling through them at a pace, and I got to you, and for some reason Tristan Chaplin just turned into Triplin. That was it. Des picked up on it.
I pounced on that.
Yeah. So
Triplin. That's a great name.
But I'm thinking, how have you not ever used that as your poker alias?
I'll tell you what,
I'm just Triplin. Yeah, Triplin. Yeah.
If I do start one, I'll go with Triplin. I'll tell you what.
20% of everything, right? So there's 20 to us, there's 40 to Emily, and that leaves you with, well, not very much.
So, Lee, tell me more about the schedule. Did you see a schedule?
Yeah. So there is one. It's only recently been released. Let me find a device so I can get it loaded up on.
Here, I'm not sure we can call out the GG schedule on a party poker program, but we would say it's out there, right?
No. I was going to say it's out there, but all I was going to say is there are some low buy-in bracelet events that they've always done.
I saw one in particular that stood out to me, Lee.
Yeah, they've always done low level, because they brought in things like the Millionaire Maker and Colossus when obviously we've had the live event in Vegas. And I wasn't sure whether they were going to go down that road, but they seem to have done that. Now, one comment I did get from somebody is there's no ladies event, which some people have found disappointing. As we've just got Stefan all in with Ace Queen against Neville's Jacks, and the Jacks are going to hold. Yes, which was surprising, because I would have thought that would have just been a given that they would put that in, but for some reason they haven't. So but I think it's appealing. Certainly. Interesting main event. I think there's
$5,000, right?
$5,000 main event with a 25 million guarantee, which means they need a lot of people to play that.
I've literally got 2 months, so I can afford to have a look at it.
Yeah, but I still think my still underlying view is that I still think the WPT World Online Championships on Party as a schedule for the summer, I actually think is a better schedule, in my opinion. And I think the structures of the tournaments are better with they are just ridiculously deep stack tournaments.
I think there's three levels of buy-in as well, isn't there?
There are, yes, there are, yeah. So,
I have a little look at it.
Yeah. But my point in general is that this summer, if you want to play online poker, this is going to be probably one of the best summers, one of the best summers ever to be playing poker. And I still would imagine Stars will do something. I can't believe they're just going to sit there quietly and go, right, we'll let the other players have all the fun this summer. They will put something out before their W Coup in the autumn, I'd imagine.
Yeah.
So Kevin gets quite lucky there. Ace 3 against Ace 9. They ended up chopping it.
So I see Peter has just written in the chat box, when is the next football show? And is Natalie a permanent fixture? I hope so. Well, we'd like to think so too, but Natalie's very, very busy. That's the biggest challenge there. I think she's really enjoyed what we've done so far. But I think Natalie, even when she's doing a show with us, she's doing other stuff in the background to try and keep on top of workload. So we'll just have to see how that works out. We don't want to put too much pressure on her. But we had fun with it on Thursday night, Lee. So outside of the obvious Liverpool thing, which is a bit unique, but it was really quite enjoyable to do, wasn't it?
Yeah. No, I'm thoroughly enjoying doing them, and I think the community are getting involved with them, and obviously we're reaching out to different places as well, because obviously the football show is slightly different. But I think very much it's something which we will look to do, and we'll find another game. And I just, to be honest, I just want to keep commentating on games that Des can't watch that have importance to Des, because they are great fun.
I'll tell you, we have to cut out some of that stuff and just put it back up again of you describing goal mouth action, in a title deciding game. And my only question is, but Lee, but which goal? Which goal? Is it City nearly scoring, or is it Chelsea? He goes, well, I'm sorry, Des, I'm a bit far from my telly at the moment. It was brilliant.
The plan was we're learning as we go with it, aren't we? And, obviously, what we're very aware of is that everybody seems to watch. Says, "Oh well, we're all watching the same game," but actually, you can be watching it from anything from 0 to 60 seconds delay, depending on what platform you're on or how your broadband's running that night or whatever. So we're always trying to make sure whoever's watching it and calling it out is watching the most up-to-date version of it we possibly can, which means it kind of switched from Natalie to me at one point during the show. And yes, but my setup in the office isn't set up to necessarily be watching football, because I've got a big screen with all the windows and stuff open, and the TV's kind of over in the distance. So I'll learn for next time to make sure I bring it closer or even just point out what's going on. But it was quite amusing. To be fair, after the first one, I was doing it on purpose.
But that's the beauty of it, right? So the first 3 or 4 APAT shows don't even have a season or an episode number. They're not even in the list of shows that we published. We did them, and they were all broadcast, and I think they were all pretty good, but they all developed. They all went a step further each time, and we took a massive step from the first football show that we did to the second one, I think, just technically. And from a branding point of view, we did a lot of change there.
Yeah.
I think we've identified further improvements that we can do for the next show. And
I think the things we realised from the first one, just to make the point, and I want to make this point, is that we had Asa and Jason on, and they were absolutely brilliant.
Oh, they were fabulous.
They were fast. But what we did realise, it's actually quite unfair to have fans on for the entire match that they're wanting to watch. It's kind of like, it's kind of hard going on them. So we've got to find a better way of involving fans in the show where we're not feeling like they're unsure. Because I felt for Jason that night, because I think he was on a 30-second delay what he was watching to what some of us were watching.
I think the Arsenal defence was on a 30-second delay, Lee.
Yeah. And his team were getting absolutely trashed. And he's hearing Asa shout goal, and he's waiting 25 seconds before he gets to see it. It wasn't. That's not fair on people. So we've learned what we do. But we do want the content from the guys, because it's as much about the fans chatting and offering their opinion as it is about anything else, really.
Yeah. Oh,
I mean, there are so many skilled players out there, but I mean, David Luiz getting a new contract must be right up there.
How is that even? How is that a thing? Yeah, how is that a thing? Incredible, isn't it?
That's
after that performance, pretty much.
It was straight. It was 2 days after.
Yeah. How is that? It's just.
I mean, this is hands down one of the best moves I think I've seen.
It's like larceny. It's like the Arsenal management are as defensively leaky as their best defender. It's insane.
Yeah. It's crazy stuff. This five-handed is kind of
we're going to get to a while.
Yeah, we're going to get to a point. Well, we're going to get to a point here where the blinds are creeping up, and they're all fairly level-ish on chips. They've got between 2 and 3.8 million. So at some point, it's just going to have to explode. There's no other way to do it. So what's your Tris? What's your take on Pogba, Tris?
Oh goodness. Long term, I'm not a Pogba fan. Recently, I think he's been pretty good. For me, it's all about Fernandes. I mean, since that guy came, he's nearly transformed the side.
I thought he had a bit of an off. I thought he had a bit of an off day today.
He probably had his poorest game in the shirt.
He definitely left his shooting boots at home. He had a lot of wild shots.
It's so ironic that he probably had his poorest game in the shirt today.
That's okay, totally acceptable.
But what I like about him is that he's prepared to take a gamble with a pass, and eventually the rest of the players will get more onto his wavelength to know that, all right, do you know what? If I make this run, he's gonna find me.
Big race here.
Sorry. Yeah, Jack's against
Ace or a queen. Oh, it's not even a spade.
Oh, the pick's gone.
Unlucky Stefan.
That's the second time. I think it was pretty much identical hand, Ace Queen versus Jack.
I think it was identical hand.
It's a race.
Yeah,
it's a race.
He doubled Neville up first time, and the second time, so Neville wins both the races with the same hand.
So obviously it's up to Neville how he wants to play this now. And he obviously puts Jacob in first hand. So Neville's got 40 bigs, and other three players sub 15. So.
This is now interesting to see how Neville wants to go, as you say, with this.
Two options: sit back and get heads up, or put them in. And he's put them in again. So I think we can see how Neville's going to.
Here we go. Oof!
Oh,
look at those spades.
Got the draw.
Oh, fades it.
Wow.
Oh well, so there goes that plan. Then we could be back to.
I'm telling you guys,
not really, because it wasn't that much of a dent in his. He's still got a decent stack, but obviously Kevin's got a bit more now.
Neville says sweat.
Metal bubble, boys.
It is the metal bubble, the mubble.
So Asa said, the thing he struggled with is trying to watch the game with no sound, whilst playing poker with no sound as well.
It's very difficult. So that was one of the things that we did for the second one. We decided everybody needed to understand what their role was, right? And the funny thing was, we said, right, Natalie, you're the football expert, okay? So you monitor the game, so that rather having 4 or 5 or 6 people looking at the game and all saying different things because different things are happening. In terms of where they are on the stream. you sort of drive the discussion on the football. So if somebody gets a yellow card and I see it first, I'm not going to say anything. You say it. And of course, that worked for all of about 12 minutes until somebody put in the in the chat box, goal. And I went, there's been a goal. And Lee went, has there? And I went, yeah. And Natalie said, no, Man City have the ball in the Chelsea half. There isn't a goal. And I went, there's a goal. And Lee went, no, there is a goal. And Natalie went, what goal? It was like best laid plans and all that.
Yeah. Could the Liverpool fan please leave the studio? Yeah.
Quite funny.
That was just one of those nights, wasn't it? As we got so Ed's gone all in, and Neville's flat called that.
And Jacob's gone a ladder.
I was going to say, with a decision here for the two blinds.
He's just flattered, so I presume Neville is very, very, very strong.
But Jacob's having a think about this.
He's not having any of that, Lee.
Jacob's laddering all day.
He's laddering.
You think he's folding here? Yeah.
I do. Oh,
in he goes.
God.
There we go.
All the chips go in.
I knew what was coming.
I think he's jacks. I think he's got jacks.
Kevin's surely getting out of the way. Neville's going to make the call for another $500,000.
Kevin could be exploded into second here.
This will be insane if he's got that. Neville's going to make the call.
Jacks, he's got the jacks.
Versus Jacks. Jacks are looking good.
4 would be sick.
Oh, Jacob Ladders.
Very sick. Yeah.
Big style. Wow, what a great call.
So we lose Ed in fourth.
Unlucky Ed.
Spot, which means we have our 3 medalists now. It's going to be Neville, Kevin, and Jacob.
That was a gutsy call with the jacks, do we think?
Yeah, very much so.
I think 4-handed. I think we
medal bubble as well, though.
Yeah.
I'm not, Tris. I'm not sure. I'm not. I think I'm folding jacks in that position. I really do. I really do.
I think it's borderline.
Best case, you're in a race, aren't you?
Neville's flat would be. Neville could have 10s, I suppose, 9s, 10s, but flatting Neville's flat would really put me off jacks. Yeah, but I think it's just too strong a hand.
Yeah.
If he's got a monster, he's got a monster. I think.
Well, say Neville had shoved all in over the top. I mean, the trouble, it doesn't really it makes much difference. But does that make Jacob less confident to call with the jacks then, or?
I guess it's player dependent. The thing that he flat would put me more. I'm more inclined to call a shove than shove over a flat, even though there's hardly any difference. It sounds a silly thing to say, but that's my view on it.
Yeah.
Lee, take your dog out.
Oh, it's this time of night where there's foxes in the garden. So the minute she gets sight of a fox, she's just letting us know there's a fox in the garden. So.
Well, Pete's in the chat box. He's first of all, he's given a shout out to Eddie, his teammate, who took him out of the Omaha as I was heading home from work, but he redeemed himself by making the final table of that tourney. And he says he is never folding jacks there.
Yeah. And that's why Pete will never be a profitable player. I don't know what to say. Yeah, I mean, yeah.
It would seem to work out quite nicely for Jacob there, I have to say.
No, I'm probably being Mr. Nit from Knitsville there by not doing that, but and the squads game's finished. So Dean Pearson wins that tonight. Very well done to him. Batlam finishes in second, Paxo in third, and Jason Chilmaid in fourth.
Neville says in the chat box on party, well done on the medal, gents, and gets a cheers from Kevin. I mean, do we know, is Jacob a player with us?
Jacob has played.
Okay.
That's for sure.
Georgie
I recognise the name. Yeah, because I recognise the name. So, whether he's played any many championship games, I'm not sure. Just looking him up on the squad's database now, which has got rather big.
I can imagine.
Yeah. He's played 16 squads games.
Blimey,
so,
that's fair enough.
Yeah. So he's played a fair bit. Yeah, tomorrow, big night tomorrow, Des.
It's always Super Sunday is always a big night.
Yeah, but do you want my big stat of the night for tomorrow
Go
night?
on, let's do it.
What we're going to hit tomorrow night?
Not 15,000.
We hit 15,000
Wow,
squad players
that's
having
incredible.
played. So effectively entries in we hit tomorrow night. We will do it. We're about 60 shy tonight, so we'll do it tomorrow.
Fantastic.
Yeah, which is crazy stuff.
How's the affiliation with Party Guys? All right.
Yeah, I mean, we like them. I mean, we like what they're offering. It'd be nice if they had a wider range of games, but it just doesn't seem anyone is ticking that box outside of Stars.
True.
Yeah.
True.
Yeah, they all talk about, you know, plans, and it's on the roadmap, and it's all development, and it's all. But it is with these things, these things take time, and so at the moment, yeah, we'd like to see a few more variants maybe, but we've still got the stud game that happens that you mentioned earlier on, Tris, and that's getting a good 40 odd runners every week.
It's the biggest stud game on Party.
Sure is.
True.
Even bigger when Tony Trippier's playing it.
I'm not taking on Trippier in stud. I mean, Jesus, the guy's a medal winner, you know.
Yeah, I mean it's as simple as that.
Multiple medal winner at stud, gold and bronze. But we only ever talk about the bronze.
Yeah, but to be fair, he did rattle through most of his accomplishments last Saturday night. So.
I've forgotten quite a lot of those, I have to say. But it was fascinating discussion. Fascinating. Don't know if you heard any of it, Tristan, but some of his thoughts on religion and his experiences.
Oh, if you missed Tony Trippier and Des Duffy discussing religion on a Saturday night,
just fast forward to an hour and 9 minutes and 25 seconds.
Go and listen to it back. It was eye opening. It really was.
It was absolutely brilliant.
Yeah, I must admit I did miss Tony, but I'll catch you up.
Yeah, roughly an hour, 9 minutes and 25 seconds in. Roughly.
Okay, so interesting. So Pete says he's going to talk to me regarding the Omaha and PLO8. Spotted something tonight in the payouts and the fact the PLO8 is 6-handed and PLO8 8-handed.
Okay. That's cool.
Interesting. I think he's probably found your commission, Des.
Happy days.
I thought we kept that. I thought we were keeping that under the radar, but
my commission.
Obviously not. Yeah.
Chance to be a fine thing, Lee. It'd be a fine thing.
Do it for the love of it.
Yeah. No, I'm doing it for a door mirror.
Door mirror. Yeah.
Out of interest, changing the subject, Lee. Are you close to Sandbanks at all?
Oh,
lovely
Sandbanks.
Yeah, fairly close. Yeah.
Because when I almost moved down there, they took us for a little jaunt round there, and I thought, oh my God, look at this.
Yeah.
What an amazing piece of the UK.
It's Harry Redknapp territory.
Oh yeah.
Harry and Sandra down Sandbanks.
I think Sandbanks was, if not still is, like the most expensive.
It's the most expensive
piece of property in the world.
Yeah,
it's like
I think it is per square meter.
Per square meter. Yeah, it's insane. Yeah. Jen goes swimming not far from their open water. They've got an open water swimming group down in Poole, and so they go swimming down there once a week normally on a Tuesday.
That's so ironic, isn't it? Open swimming in Poole.
Yes, there's something quite good about it, isn't it? Really. Yeah,
beautiful.
But yeah, it's a fantastic part of the country to be. We're very lucky because actually we've got you've got all that, so you've got kind of the beach side of it, but then a bit further along and you've got all the Jurassic Coast, which is just incredible, gorgeous.
And try Fred's in is it in Poole or is it in Bournemouth? The little fish and chip shop, absolutely amazing stuff. Fred's.
Yeah, you can't go wrong.
Yeah, I think the company was based in Wallistown.
Yeah, Wallistown. Yeah, Wallistown's kind of just in between Poole and Bournemouth.
So you're getting a question in the chat box. Did you call in on Harry and Sandra? And that's coming from Sand's brother Tom Banks.
Yeah. So interesting spot here. Kevin's raised it up, and Jacob's repopped it from the big blind. decision effectively for Kevin's tournament life, and he folds.
So Ace is saying Stars have a stadium series starting on July the 5th. Is that an online thing?
Yeah, it will be. Yeah.
Why are they calling it a stadium series?
I think they had so many.
They're running
run
out of
names.
names.
Yeah.
Stadium series online.
It'll probably just be they've changed the table so it looks like you're sat in a something, or they won't. Yeah,
They're having a giraffe, aren't they?
They're just playing so many days. They just got to think of a new name for it.
Couldn't they just extend like Scoop again?
No, it can't extend it again.
No, you can't. They've already run a summer series.
But stadium series
Well,
online.
it's just a case of coming up with a name, isn't it? It's just ridiculous.
There are many words that might be better suited. But anyway, c'est la vie, c'est la vie.
Well, it's just it's the way it is, isn't it? They've just got to come up with something.
Oh, here we go.
Action.
I think the Ace is going to do it, guys.
Heads up, boys.
It is, and we are going to be heads up.
As Jacob Ladders again.
Oh dear, oh dear.
Sorry, guys, I pick them. Every week I pick the winner here, and
Jacob,
I don't get any love for it.
Jacob versus Neville then, heads up, and Jacob has a decent chip lead here.
So Ben said we already had the ISPT, which we did. Honestly, that was one of the happiest days of my life. I'm talking about the months before when I did the partnership deal with them. And Ben doesn't want to talk about it, but I actually quite like to talk about it and think about it.
I like talking about that event. Oh, it was great.
I remember when Rob Young took it over, and he
Winner, boys.
Yeah. Oh, here we go.
Winner.
Boom. Somebody call it.
That didn't last very long, did it? Crikey, I've never. But to be fair, Pete did call this in the chat. He said he thought that they'd all get this in quite quickly, and that was certainly the way it was. Jacob raised it up. Neville made a call. King, Queen, 9 of clubs, and it all went in. Neville had the 8 of clubs, and Jacob had pocket 9s and didn't get a club, which means that's all done. Jacob's our winner. He picks up $455.
Sweet.
Neville finishes in second for $326, and Kevin O'Donnell finishes in third for $237. Well done to all our medalists and everyone that cashed. That was probably the quickest heads up I think we've seen in all this run.
Super quick in the end, I have to say, but it seemed to be a pretty decent final table. I thought Jake was pretty impressive with the way he moved his stack around there towards the end. So well done, guys. For your play tonight. Those who have medalled and cashed, particularly. Tristan, thank you a bunch for spending your evening with us. It was really nice having you on board, and we've learned quite a lot about you from it. And hopefully at some point we can do it again, because, hopefully we'll do a second series of these shows, Lee. I've enjoyed doing them, and, get a lot of people back on who've been brilliant.
Absolutely. Yeah, these. I think we will certainly be continuing these after lockdown. That's for sure.
Yeah.
In some form, definitely.
So thank you again, Tristan. And, thanks to all of you guys who've been out there and listening in and talking to us through the evening. And thanks to Ben for joining the chat partway through and telling us about his adventure in raising £109,000 for Amelie's charity. I mean, that's absolutely insane. And what amazing progress she is making. So that is it from us tonight, guys. We are back tomorrow night, same time, 10 o'clock. Ton of action tomorrow night. Plus, we're going to see our 15,000 entry for Poker Squads, which is, well, that's a target we wouldn't have set, Lee. We wouldn't have set that target 10 weeks ago. We wouldn't have thought. No, not at all. So we're having a ton of fun, guys. We look forward to doing this again tomorrow night. And in particular, we will be looking at the finale of Squads and the roller. So that's tomorrow night. So we shall see you then. And until that time, that's a wrap. Thanks a lot, guys, and good night.
Okay, night, guys. Thanks.